shadows gather where the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. But he walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice wanted fire, a mind on this dawn. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of coming sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church to bring the fed. No hurdles, no illusions, no hollow interpret. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Misled, thinking truth from the wreckage, raising dawn from the dead. Every word is a weapon, shot men declare, exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord rises with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist dead. On his growl rings through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, trigger keeps the battle is right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I'm making the chaos of found to
Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Marty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome back. Very good to see you all. A very interesting show here. I'm not exactly sure. It's only January, and yet we've already done, this is the fourth stream we've done on Nick Shirley. So New Year's Eve, we were talking about when he was on PBD. We watched the first Minnesota drop. Then he was on Andrew Callaghan, and then he dropped the second video. And so, I mean, the New Year's wasn't even a full stream, but now this is the fifth time we're talking about him in the year. Hopefully, this either is put to bed pretty quickly or turns into something legitimate. Maybe he was lying. Shout out to King Nirvana. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. So I will assume that most of you guys, even if you didn't see the whole video of what Nick Shirley did out in Minnesota, you're aware that he went to uncover a bunch of Somali daycare fraud, and the second video was about more transportation and other kinds of fraud, bunch of Somali fraud in Minnesota. In between those drops, like I said, he did an interview with Andrew Callaghan, just an online journalist, I guess you would say, and it was a little wonky. It was a little wonky. Even when we were watching it, we were like, "Is Nick like not a good speaker, or is there's something off?" And then the drama began. So I am all right. So let's do this. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know. So when the first video dropped, Nick Shirley dropped this video, and
all right, this is super important, and I also learned a great lesson here. So the other week, I sat down with Andrew Callaghan in Channel 5 to do a sit-down podcast-style interview for his channel. And when he goes and posts the video, I see he just posted an hour-long interview. I said, well, that's weird, because we actually spoke for around 2.5 hours. And then I go and watch the interview, and I'm saying, well, what is this? This is not what happened. For instance, this clip right here.
What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Austin. Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Nashville's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
Well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
Denver.
Why are you smirking? It's not prospering.
All right, so that's the clip Andrew posted, but this is the actual interaction of how it went.
Uh-oh.
Denver.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering.
It's not. See, you can't even ask the question. It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
Kind of.
So that is going to be a seminal point that Andrew actually specifically stated that I agree that Democrat cities aren't run.
Prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly. That was not in the initial the hour-long interview. So just to keep you in the know what we're focusing on.
It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
Kind of weird that Andrew didn't put that in, right? Maybe his base or something would not be happy with that response because he obviously got caught lying. And anyways, let's talk.
So I don't know if that's a lie, maybe a deceptive edit, fair, but not a lie.
Let's move over to the next topic when we're talking about Somalians being known for pirating, as 89% of the fraud that has been charged inside of Minnesota is by Somalians. This is the interaction that Andrew posted.
Somali community, or do you see it as both?
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that statistic from?
You can pull it up on the screen. You'll find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
Again, in the original video that he's showing, they cut to the Google thing. Shout out to Warehouse Junkie. Welcome. I've never actually covered financial audit. I have a weird feeling that they're going to be copyright heavy, but it's definitely worth a try. And I did not know that he had a governor on there, so we can definitely do that. Welcome to the party. We are going over whether or not did Nick Shirley lie.
Up on the screen. You'll find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
For sure, just so I can, I don't know, I believe you. I just want to make sure we have the exact.
Here, right here. Yeah, and it's not racist to say it.
So again, when he's saying pay attention to the editing, it means when we go back to the B-roll or just not the actual conversation.
Probably. And when I go.
This is what happens when I show him the fact that 89% of the people who have been charged for fraud in Minnesota are Somalians. This is what Andrew had to say. But remember, he conveniently left this out of the interview.
89% of those charged in connection with major.
Wow. Identified as Somali Americans.
Well, looks like we got to redo there.
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview because it
Looks like there's a problem.
So already he's like, I wonder if you're actually going to show people what what just conspired here.
With fraud.
So there you go. That's just two examples from the interview with Andrew Callaghan where he literally went out of his way to try and make me look bad, which is not cool. And I wouldn't say that's very benevolent.
So one of the memes going around was he was not able to pronunciate benevolent, and so that's why he's saying that now.
I wouldn't say that's very benevolent of him to do by any means. But I promise you guys, if I ever do an interview with anyone, you're going to get the full product, because I think that's just like the most benevolent thing to do. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys were able to see through what I just showed you. The full interview is up on my second channel.
So actually, I wanted to make sure we get, So the fact of the matter is that we see things in Nick Shirley's footage that were not in the interview. Whether and again, so that could be something that is deceptively edited, or maybe it was just something different. Luckily, we have the response from Andrew Callaghan. And so let's dive right into that. Shout out to HR Death Poet. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. Caleb's all over the place. We also got JL. Welcome. Well, we'll see, because he, you just missed him calling out Andrew Callaghan, the guy who interviewed him, for deceptively editing this guy. But he's responded, so let's see what he says.
All right. So normally and historically, my policy for whenever somebody's saying some factually inaccurate stuff about me online is to turn the other cheek, keep my head down, and get back to grinding. But in this case, with Mr. Nick Shirley, who is now falsely accusing me of conducting an unfairly edited interview, I think I'm going to pick.
So that's the video that we just watched.
Option 2 and let people know what went down. Journalistic integrity is something that I kind of take a little bit seriously, and I can see a future wherein access is limited to prominent people, especially conservatives, if I don't dispel this false narrative immediately in its entirety right the heck now. So to do this right.
So that, just already we're, by Nick saying anything, you're calling into question the legitimacy, the credibility of him as a journalist in the first place. And so that's a strong claim. So this has been the liberal playbook for years. They get away with it because it's not lying. It's only an omission of information. Yeah, that is definitely a common thing. The question is, did it happen here?
I'll have to show you a couple of things, including text messages between him and I, and actual footage of the working Premiere sequence that I used to edit the interview, so you can see what was cut and why. So let's begin with an editing lesson. So when we're dealing with a long-form interview of somebody who talks very slowly and circles back to repetitive talking points,
which Nick definitely does.
One of the first things that we do in post-production is cutting what's called dead air, which means long pauses between words or sentences.
Who was here last night? When I was like, oh my goodness, the dead air! How do we deal with the dead air? Dead air is death. That's why they call it dead.
Is cutting what's called dead air, which means long pauses between words or sentences, or fixable verbal stammers that slow down the conversation and risk boring the viewer. So
even basic editing like that is a huge reason why I want to be a streamer and not, posting videos.
In this raw interview with Nick, which had a total runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes, we had to cut nearly half an hour of dead air to make it listenable. Many people like to choose their words carefully, so I get it, but there was a couple points in the interview that even in person, we had to have Nick repeat himself because the crew felt that no amount of corrective editing would possibly be able to make him sound normal.
So that's the question. Whereas I don't know if he did it intentionally. It just became his editing style, so he does it subconsciously, and that is the question. And I have an opinion already, but I did also see Asmund Gold cover this and have a different opinion. So I want to get through, like, this is just about a 15-minute video. I want to get through that, and then we'll talk about that. And I want to see, we'll jump in and check what Asmund Gold said, and we'll see where you go. And look, we got my biggest fan in the building, the first Avenger. Welcome back. They just can't stay away. Welcome to the party.
Because the crew felt that no amount of corrective editing would possibly be able to make him sound normal.
It's been an interesting few days, past 72 hours. My video on the expose of the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever, longer than 10 minutes, other than Mr. Beast.
Can you say the fraud in Minnesota again? Then you kind of stuttered.
Can you imagine how many times I had to do that?
Yeah. Oh, wait, are there going to be cuts in this, or just going to be one take?
Which will make it perfect. So if we ask for to say it again, it's just to make sure you say it perfectly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that is the expectation. If you're doing something that's not live, the expectation is that you're going to record and then you're going to cut it down. So that's not like the act of cutting out dead air itself is completely industry standard. If you are not familiar with editing, if you listen to videos, like just any video, you'll notice that it's not a normal speaking tone. They'll cut out the silences because that does better. Shout out to Guam Tag. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. Early bird gets the worm. Welcome. Well, so because ICE is already in Texas and Florida, they just happen to be the biggest channels of illegal immigration. What? Oh, is this? I didn't even read this shit. But I'll assume that Warehouse is right. We all got Bethy Crazy in the building. Welcome. And it is a brick. It is a brick out there. Yeah, I didn't read that shit. Oh man, what is it? It's like it wasn't that bad today. It wasn't that bad today. So I hear it's 37 degrees right now, which is not that bad. But I know you guys in the Midwest, you're dealing with that cold wave. What do they call it? Cold. They call it a warm front. What's the frost warning? Whatever the fuck. You know what I mean. But it's coming over here. We also got Hidden Gnosis. Welcome to the party. So cutting dead air is extremely time consuming. So I get why they're having him repeat himself. Interviewing this dude has to be frustrating as hell. Cold front. There we go. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. But yeah, welcome Hidden Gnosis. I completely agree that, in order to just even if he was good at speaking, you would still want to cut out dead air. And even as Andrew's going to talk about some other things that they talked about that we're just like, all right, we're not gonna include that. So that is very common. So far nothing wrong has been done, and as Andrew says, this is only helping Nick at this point. Yeah, he's down, and like no shade, like that doesn't make him a bad person. But I think that's going to come into play as to what's really going on here.
So just going to be one take.
Which will make it perfect. So if we ask for to say it again, it's just to make sure you say it perfectly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So my video on the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever by a creator, longer than 10 minutes, expose style, than anybody other than the name of Mr. Beast.
So bear with me here.
And even still, that was not well articulated.
I'm going to show you the raw footage, and we'll see how with the magic of editing, we were able to make Nick sound actually smarter and faster than he was in person. Check this out. How does that make you feel, like gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the HHS, Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
How does that make you feel, like gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think
this is after now. The same question. We see that they've made a bunch of little cuts. Every little box here is going to be like every little line you see. That's going to be another cut. So finish up the book.
Really businesses.
How does that make you feel, like gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the Health and Human Services. They froze all.
And again, cutting away from the actual people in the room allows you to kind of hide some of the editing, which again is very normal. That's why it has the name B-roll.
That created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota, and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses.
That sounds a lot better. Nick. I don't know if I'd be complaining about that. Contact said, liked, and shared. Thank you. So very, very much. You guys know that stuff is free. It's easy. It takes 1 second, and it really, really, really does help the channel out. It doesn't even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling the platform you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Thank you. Let's see what Andrew's got to say about that.
This is to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses.
So in that interview, we probably did that same thing as far as
I see it. No, I think that's you. On the YouTube thing, it shows up as well.
trimming dead air.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
These businesses.
So in that interview, we probably did that same thing as far as trimming dead air and splicing B-roll. No joke, probably 30 times, as you can see here on the timeline. And it was never to take him out of context, but to help him get his point across.
Right. And so each little thing here means that something was done. This was one solid line like this. And like this is the logo. It says globe loop. So this is the Channel 5 logo, I think. And so you can see that it's one thing all the way across. And you have little tiny things here, and then all this chop. And I mean, typically like the blue, you'll be able to all chop together. But the point being, each little thing has to be manually edited. And so, you know, going back to what Hidden Gnosis said and what I was saying earlier on, this is a very, very big reason why I chose to be a live streamer.
We do this for every good faith interview or 5 casts we've conducted so far. From Hunter Biden, which had a raw runtime of 5 hours before being cut to 324, to Hunter Kozak, to Alex Jones, to Hamilton Morris, Jan DeSanti, to pretty much everybody we've ever talked to.
Exactly. 100% not. Is that the and there's this conflation that people have. I mean, you know, I think they're opening up an investigation to cocaine that was found in a cubby outside the
And so, like, in this moment, you guys watching my stream, that's like, okay, I mean, obviously there's a point to why we're watching the stuttering, but you're expecting to, you know, real-time conversation, and that's how people talk. There's also the chat going on that you could pay attention to. And so if you're going to do, you know, release it as a recorded thing, you want to just polish it up a little bit and make sure it looks good. Shout out to Equality and Deference because vagina over on Rumble. Welcome to the party. Said somebody gave me a thumbs down. Well, hey, engagement is engagement. Said I canceled that shit out and liked and shared again. Thank you. So very, very much, guys. Again, it really does help, and it doesn't matter if you think anybody's going to click. Thank you. Welcome to the party. Let's dive back in. After so okay, we got a few more people here. Since this is a short thing, we'll go back and watch what Nick said. Just to if you just joined and you didn't see it, we'll speed it up a little bit, but watch again.
All right, this is super important, and I also learned a great lesson here. So the other week,
oh yeah, and if you didn't know, one of the memes that went around with Nick talking not so well was that he couldn't say benevolent. That's why he's saying it in this.
I sat down with Andrew Callaghan in Channel 5 to do a sit-down podcast-style interview for his channel. And when he goes and posts the video, I see he just posted an hour-long interview. I said, well, that's weird, because we actually spoke for around 2.5 hours. And then I go and watch the interview. I'm saying, well, what is this? This is not what happened. For instance, this clip right here.
What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Austin. Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah. Nashville's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
Well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
Denver.
Why are you smirking? It's not prospering.
All right, so that's the clip Andrew posted, but this is the actual interaction of how it went.
Denver.
Again, notice the end of what Nick is showing here.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't
notice
know
what was cut out.
See, you can't even answer the question. It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
That's a big thing to cut out.
Kind of weird that Andrew didn't put that in, right? Maybe.
Right. And so what is the wording there that Nick said? It's kind of weird that he didn't put that in. Didn't say that he lied. He didn't say he tried to. I mean, later he does. But on this specific point, saying it's weird that he didn't put that in. That is the claim.
Democrat-run states are doing badly.
Kind of weird that Andrew didn't put that in, right? Maybe his base or something would not be happy with that response because he obviously got caught lying. And anyways, let's move over to the next topic when we're talking about Somalians being known for pirating, as 89% of the fraud that has been charged inside of Minnesota is by Somalians. This is the interaction that Andrew posted.
Somali community, or do you see it as both?
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that statistic from?
You can pull it up on the screen. You'll find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
For sure, just so I can, I don't know, I believe you. I just want to make sure we have the exact.
Here, right here. Yeah, and it's not racist to say it. Probably. And when I go.
This is what happens when I show him the fact that 89% of the people who have been charged for fraud in Minnesota are Somalians. This is what Andrew had to say. But remember, he conveniently left this out of the interview.
89% of those charged in connection with major identified as Somali Americans. Well, looks like we do there with it. I'm interested to see what you put in this interview because it looks like there's a problem with fraud.
So
looks like there's a problem with the fraud.
there you go. That's just 2 examples from the interview with Andrew Callaghan, where he literally went out of his way to try and make me look bad, which is not cool. And I wouldn't say that's like very benevolent of him to do by any means. But I promise you guys, if I ever do an interview with anyone, you're going to get the full product, because I think that's just like the most benevolent thing to do. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys were able to see through what I just showed you. The full interview is up on my second channel.
Right. And so going to Equality, saying public service announcement, the mispronunciation of a word does not negate one's point. I'm going to hold on to that. Remember that he said that. We're going to come back to that. Shout out to Lone Wolf and Cub in the building. Yeah, look at the 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris. Again, it's not just the editing. It's not just the fact that it was edited. It's what is edited and how it is edited. So far, Andrew Callaghan has just been talking about, well, there was a lot of dead air and Nick doesn't speak very well. So we did that, we cut out the dead air, and he's showing that, we do the same thing with everybody else. Shout out to Angry Amputee. Welcome. Let's just back this up to where he's making his point here. Actually, let's show the before and after again. So this is Andrew, the red hat guy, the interviewing, responding to the fact that Nick is calling him out and saying, well, you're being dishonest.
Independent journalist.
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the HHS, Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
How does that make you feel, like
And then of course this is after, and you can see all the edits.
gratification wise as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota, and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses.
So far, we're helping Nick out if we're on Andrew's team. So far.
In that interview, we probably did that same thing as far as trimming dead air and splicing B-roll. No joke, probably 30 times, as you can see here on the timeline. And it was never to take him out of context, but to help him get his point across. We do this for every good faith interview or 5cast we've conducted so far. From Hunter Biden, which had a raw runtime of 5 hours before being cut to 324, to Hunter Kozak, to Alex Jones, to Hamilton Morris, Jan DeSanti, to pretty much everybody we've ever talked to.
Exactly. 100% not is that and there's this conflation that people have. I think they're opening up an investigation to cocaine that was found in a cubby outside the West Wing of the White House.
We are.
So again, very clearly that's not very polished, but there was something that he said there. So you clip it up, you take out the ums, the uhs, the dead air, and it sounds nicer, like we just saw with Nick.
Live streamers or live podcasters, and we like to package our interviews for efficiency and entertainment value. So that's just something that we do. So the other cuts in the Nick Shirley interview that weren't dead air related were conversational beats that I personally found either boring, repetitive, or so off topic to the point that they derailed the conversation away from its intended focus, which was fraud in Minnesota and Shirley's personal background.
And so that is, that's editorial, that's subjective. That's based on what Andrew thinks is relevant. Clearly, Nick thinks it's relevant if he was talking about it. But, especially if you've seen other panels before, sometimes the conversation gets away from you and you can't, he's not looking for a 4-hour podcast. He wants, the meat. Warehouse said, while I agree Andrew's editing did make Nick come across more clearly, if there is more instances of context like that being cut, 1 is random, 2 is coincidence, 3 is a pattern. I think that's a fair rule of thumb. I like that. Also, Hunter Biden lost his cocaine in the West Wing, didn't he? I know he lost his coke somewhere. No. He's a crackhead. And no real crackhead would lose their drugs. Trust me. I was on the other side. I wasn't an upper, but downer. But trust me. It's only the rich drug people that are losing drugs. Well, unless you're on benzos and stuff, then you're losing everything. It knows that if you cut out Shirley showing him the source of the 89% statistic, then I don't know how he can explain that without looking bad. Well, let's see.
Derailed the conversation away from its intended focus, which was fraud in Minnesota and Shirley's personal background. We cut probably 25 minutes of unproductive, redundant banter about Portland, Mormonism, gay marriage, his new crypto coin. I heard you also made a coin of some kind?
I didn't make a coin. I just joined a platform where you can monetize your content. And it is a coin. You can then monetize your content, just similar to like how you upload on TikTok. You can upload your stuff on there. It's just based off Coinbase.
The history and ethics of welfare in America.
So that's not at all what he's upset about. He's upset about Andrew, who agrees that there is the fraud, deceptively editing the interview. That's what we're talking about.
And 6 whole, nearly identical back.
Actually, wait, let me back.
Content, just similar to like how you upload on TikTok. You can upload your stuff on there. It's just based off Coinbase.
The history and ethics of welfare in America, and 6 whole.
I don't know, but I would not suggest putting any money in a Nick Shirley meme coin. That is true financial advice.
Stuff on there. It's just based off Coinbase.
The history and ethics of welfare in America, and 6 whole, nearly identical back and forths about his 89% statistic that he falls back on unchallenged.
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians, and 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by the Somali population. 89% of the fraud happening by people who were brought into our country and then committing fraud. So 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from the Somali population.
Right, but 95% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are legal.
Yeah, 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
Since we ended up including an extensive dialogue about that stat around the 50-minute mark of the final cut, I personally didn't feel the need to torture all of you guys with 5 other versions of that conversation.
89.
And so, yeah, Hypnosis just said if he cut out Shirley showing him the source of the 89%, then I don't know how he can explain that without looking bad. And this is specifically what he's saying is, number 1, that, well, I cut out that specific time, but I didn't erase the fact that he was saying it. But as we saw in the other, or was that the Denver thing? But yeah, when he showed it and it was like, oh damn, I guess there really is fraud, right? That was part of it, and that is not in the thing. Well, if I found someone smoking crack, he produced massive amounts of evidence. Plus, it was David with the evidence, and Nick Shirley brought it to people's attention. David is the MVP. Dilly to David. But to be fair, I think a lot of people are acting like, poor David. But not everybody wants to be, the face of things. Like David probably cares a lot about this, and he's willing to be in the video. But he's like, you take all of this shit. You take all of this shit.
Personally, didn't feel the need to torture all of you guys with 5 other versions of that conversation.
89% of the population, or 89% of the fraud being committed in Minnesota is by Somalians.
And just so we can put that on screen to verify, do you know where that data is from?
Yes, you can put it up on screen. It's public.
And if you watch that raw cut, the 2-hour cut, which I made clear and
so let's see the text. We're starting off talking about the best interview backdrops ever. I'm headed to Greenland now. It should be fun. I remember you went there a while back. Wish you the best. Keep doing your thing. That's Andrew talking to Nick. Then Nick said, nice, Greenland will be epic and cold. Let me know if you need any locals. I still have some context there. Just curious, why didn't you post the full 2+ hour interview instead of the selected 1 hour interview? Hold on there, buddy. Hold on there, buddy. In the moment, you asked him about the editing. You had lines repeated. Were you under? And then they said, oh, we're going to cut it up, which will make it look perfect. Why would you then think that they would post the whole raw thing? That don't make no sense. Shout out to Matthew. Welcome to the party. Said Nick is a very poor orator. Of course, I would flunk that word, right? Nick is a very poor orator. That's fair. Does not make him wrong. Agreed. The 89% stat is only with regards to feeding our feature case and not all fraud. Yeah, I don't think that was the claim. That 89% of the Somali, we just heard it 7 times, are on welfare, not committing fraud, on welfare. So again, asking why just the 1 hour instead of the 2+. So then Andrew answers back talking about Greenland. Said primarily cut it down because of either dead air, which is pauses, stammering, or moments of silence, but also trimmed topics, mainly ones that felt unfocused or took listeners away from the main topics of fraud, new media, your upbringing and style, etc. Pretty standard for us when it comes to raw long-form interviews. For Hunter Biden, we shaved off even more. If you want the raw angles and audio, I can send you the clip for your own channel. Whatever you want, man. And so, I don't know. It looks like, at the very least, Andrew's not trying to be malicious. All right, I'll give it to you. Dilly.
It's up, it's public.
And if you watch that raw cut, the 2 hour cut, which I made clear in text with Nick that I was willing to share with him in 4K when I got back from Greenland, you will see exactly what I mean. This is not a Sacha Baron Cohen style ambush edit or a Jim Jeffries Avi Yemeni situation where I primed him, by saying crazy shit to get his guard down and then Shanghai him with post-production. I was trying to help Nick Shirley, which it seems up until yesterday, he really appreciated. So after the interview came out about a week ago, he texted me right after saying, the backdrop of this interview is hilarious. It was filmed in his uncle's upscale game room in Farmington, Utah, in front of several taxidermied bears that were presumably killed by the Shirley family. He goes,
Okay, hold on. Wait. I thought he was reading it.
Right after saying, the backdrop of this interview is hilarious.
Okay.
It was filmed in his uncle's upscale game room in Farmington, Utah, in front of several taxidermied bears that were presumably killed by the Shirley family. He goes on to say, fun watching the reaction from both sides. Appreciate you coming out.
Really? Fun watching it.
Wish you the best in all you do, bro. To which I replied kindly. But then the Clippers start.
So wait. He said, I responded kindly, but he didn't read out what he said. So let's see. Thank you, bro. It means a lot that you took the time and definitely one of the best interview backdrops ever. Head to Greenland now. So, sounds kind to me.
Do the best in all you do, bro. To which I replied kindly. But then the Clippers started doing the thing that they do Hunter Biden, finding the most outrageous or dumb soundbite in the entire piece and naming it into oblivion while missing the entire point of the dialogue, which was to try to find common ground on issues like affordability and the collapse of the mainstream media. I mean, I fundamentally hope that everything you're saying is true, just so you know.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope we all have the best interest in society and for our people, because the affordability is insane and people can't buy houses. And if we're talking about creating change, we need to let innovation prosper inside the United States.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing it.
Don't forget about Morty, guys. He's hungry.
We're not seeing innovation. In fact, we're seeing fraudsters take our money.
If you guys saw, the clip that did the most rounds was when Nick tried and failed to pronounce the word benevolent. Who do you think are the 3 most benevolent billionaires?
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Just well-intentioned, positive billionaires who you think are creating, net positive societal progress.
Trump, our president.
Because he never said it right and said benevolent twice, there was no way to cut the dead air or trim the stammer. So we left it in. And personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not know that word.
Aha. So now we had equality saying public service announcement, the mispronunciation of a word does not negate one's point. And then, who was it? Matt said, poor orator does not make him wrong. And that is not the claim here. That is not the claim here. So, I don't know. I said, I don't believe it was malicious, but I feel Andrew was making sure to not release anything that could be construed as agreement with Nick. I believe he has a touch of audience capture. I think that is very fair. I think there's a definite way to both sides this. I don't think there's a good guy and a bad guy. I'll tell you who I side with more. What is that? I got some fuzz in my hair. After this, I'll give you my full thing. But I do think this is one of those situations where it doesn't necessarily have a bad guy. Almost said, I don't get how people are defending the fraud. Example, it's not 89% or whatever, and not absolutely pissed off about it happening at all. I love net negative migration. Let's go, baby. Net negative. Not zero. Negative. Let's go. And he said, does Nick claim to be a scholar? No. Claims to be a whistleblower. Fair. But again, as we're seeing, nobody in this situation, he was talking about the Clippers and other people online making fun of the way that he talks. But Andrew here is not doing that at all, and explicitly says the opposite. Shout out to Lord Snooty. Shout out to Iceland. Welcome. So listen to what he just said.
And said malevolent twice. There was no way to cut the dead air or trim the stammer, so we left it in. And personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not know that word.
I don't think it's a big deal to not know that word. I just heard somebody, I forget who it was, but I was watching somebody and they said hyperbole. It's hyperbole. But the fact that what he was talking about was in fact hyperbole, I understood what he meant. And so I agree with all the public servants' announcements that mispronunciation doesn't do anything to your point. That's not what is being presented. Shout out to Morgas Hammer over on Rumble. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you said, liked, and shared again. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Again, it is free. It is easy. It takes 2 seconds, and it helps out so very, very much. Welcome to the party. I'm still waiting on you to get, if you, as you can see, in this moment, I'm kind of hedging against Nick. If you show me what has been debunked, I will show it. But you keep saying that without backing it up. You have to back it up.
Left it in, and personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not know that word. He is wearing a hoodie that is making fun of immigrants for their spelling errors, but
irony.
Benevolent has more syllables than learning, so I get it. But the comments on this clip were brutal, like actual.
Let's see what we got. My man definitely got the education he voted for. This is by far one of the most painful interviews you've ever done. You handled this interview incredibly well, Andrew. I applaud your patience.
And it couldn't have felt good.
Can't even pronounce or understand what benevolent means, with 15K likes and 69 replies.
From his perspective, to read these things. We're talking.
Wearing merch, making fun of people who speak English as their second language while barely being able to speak it as his native tongue. Yikes. And right, fair, but you can't ignore the irony. Let's not be, just because he's on our side and we agree that he has uncovered this fraud, doesn't mean that they don't have a point. When you're like, hey, you're literally wearing a shirt that's making fun of people and it's their second language. That's a solid point. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Tens of thousands of people declaring.
Someone make malevolent merch now. Oh!
This guy is retarded, which he's not. But there are.
Again, makes him seem retarded, which he's not, says Andrew Callaghan. I agree. But that is not coming from Andrew. So anything about the editing being relevant to trying to make Nick look stupid doesn't make sense. As he showed with the dead air thing, he's trying to make Nick look better, look smarter. I mispronounce his words, but he didn't know what benevolent meant. And I mean, again, that's fair. Like, a lot of people are making fun of that Kick streamer, Kai Sinat. Is it Kai Sinat? Let's do a little side quest. Kai Sinat reading. Let's just try this.
I'm reading to help myself speak better. We setting 15 minutes on the clock. We're at the end of the book. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
So I'm just
This
speed it up.
currently January 13th, 2:46. To change, you have to know which agreements you want to change before you can change them. So the next step is
What he's actually saying is not
develop awareness of all the self-limiting fear-based beliefs that make you unhappy. You take an inventory of all that you believe, all your agreements, and through this process, you begin the transformation. The tall text called this the art of transformation, and it's a whole mastery. You achieve the mastery of transformation by changing the fear-based agreements that make you suffer and reprogramming your own mind in your own way. One of the ways to do this is to explore and adopt. It is not a dysfunctional dream of the planet, and humans are mentally sick with a disease called fear. The symptoms of the disease are all the emotions that makes humans suffer: anger, hate, sadness, envy, and betrayal. When the fear is too great, the reasoning mind begins to fail, and
all right, hold on. Take two. Give me another shot here, because he's stopping to let's see.
So it's been a crazy past 24 hours for Kai Cenat, the previous #1 streamer in the world, dropping a video simply titled "I Quit," leading everyone to believe that he's done with streaming forever, which is absolutely crazy. Kai's been on one of the most insane runs we've ever seen, doing tons of events and marathons over the past year just to completely stop streaming altogether. And even though most people on TikTok and Twitter believe that this is officially the end of his streaming career, guys, I feel like that seriously couldn't be farther from the truth.
All right, third time's a charm. We'll go with XQC. XQC, help me out.
You can use pair a new habit with a specific time and location. The implementation intention formula is I will behavior in time and location. Habit stacking is a strategy you can use to pair a new habit with a current habit. Implementation intention is a strategy you can use pair a new habit.
Okay, so I'm not finding it, but the point is he's doing this thing where he doesn't read very well, so he's going on live and he's just reading, and every time he comes up with a word that he doesn't understand, he looks up the word. And a lot of people are making fun of him because there's words that are a little bit more basic that he doesn't know. I have no idea what he's reading. He definitely does not have a college degree. Actually, I don't know, because there are definitely people who have college degrees who don't know, are not literate. And remember, being illiterate doesn't mean that you see hieroglyphics when you see words. It just means like there's levels. It could be that, but it also could mean that you read something and you understand each individual word, but you don't understand, you don't encode the message that's being said. Shout out to Drew. Welcome. So I've been very happily unplugged. Didn't hear about this drama, but yeah, based exactly. And so many people are making fun of him. Be like, oh, you're looking at words. This ninja don't even know how to read. Like, well, that's why he's doing this. And then when you think about the fact that the streamers like that are have a much younger audience, well, then if you are really a victim of public school and you're in high school and you literally can't understand what you're reading, now you've got somebody who's a streamer who you can look up to. It's like, oh, okay, he can do it. I can do it too. Exactly. Who cares if it's a simple word he's learning? Shout out to Mark Travis. Welcome. Said skilled traits are good too. Indeed. Look at Steve Jobs. He didn't need college. Yep. And that was when college was not the fucking Marxist shit show that it is today. Welcome. We also got him an infidel. Said electrical failure on Air Force One. They're too close. Trump needs to go to the bunker and stay there. Did not hear about this. So I don't know. Nick needs to learn how to talk. I mean, legitimately, I do think he does. I do think he needs to take some type of just very basic, like public speaking course. Because when he's in his videos and he's on the street and he's in the moment, it doesn't necessarily. It's not necessarily that bad. It's when he's being interviewed, and like that doesn't seem to be his best venue. But yeah, exactly. Most can't read at or past the 4th grade level. So if we've got some streamer who before was running around doing pranks and speeding in his car and partying and whatever, and now he's reading, why are we making fun of that? You would only make fun of that if you also don't know how to read and you're projecting. Projection. Yeah, everybody over here, more God saying salute to the black dude for trying to better himself. It's young people, it's liberals, and it's women. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Shout out to Detroit. Drew said it's often those who struggle with reading who became some of the best speakers and writers of all time. Well said. If you like to read books, then college is definitely for you. Why? Why don't you just buy the books? What do you need the college for? I mean, I guess it depends on what we like. Like if we, a lisp is a speech impediment. I think there's, a thin line between not really being well spoken and having a speech impediment. But I don't think any of us are doctors. Sean said, "Do I trust Nick Shirley over Rachel Maddow?" I would hope so. Why don't people know cursive or creative? And then, like if you're blind, audiobooks are a win. Amazon books have the same thing and peer review. Yeah, exactly. There's, unless you're specifically going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a lab scientist or something that actually needs that paper to get in front of the door, you do not need college to read books. You can just read the books. All right, so let's dive back in here. Side quest over. So everybody's making fun of him, but Andrew is not.
And
remember, Nick said in the text, "I'm loving seeing both sides of how people are reacting to this."
Declaring this guy is retarded, which he's not. But there are some moments in the interview that even with dead air trimmed for speed, Nick does not give his best performance, particularly when blaming immigrants for rising rent prices.
It's just simple supply and demand. If you have 20 million people who need to come and buy a house or rent an apartment, and you have other people who need it, you're going to raise the prices.
Suggesting that.
Yeah, so all right, we got a couple new people in here. Short video. Let's just pop it again. And this is, God damn it. This is what started it all after Nick saw the interview. Sorry if you're seeing this again, but we have a video from Nick.
All right, this is super important, and I also learned a great lesson here. So the other week, I sat down with Andrew Callaghan in Channel 5 to do a sit-down podcast-style interview for his channel. And when he goes and posts the video, I see he just posted an hour-long interview. I said, well, that's weird, because we actually spoke for around 2.5 hours. And then I go and watch the interview, and I'm saying, well, what is this? This is not what happened. For instance,
we want to do that? Let's get a list. Which daycares did Nick Shirley visit in his first video? Let's see. Give me the shorter one. I don't know. So we've got let's take this one. So we've got Super Kids Daycare Center, Future Leaders Early Learning Center, Equality Learning, or the Equality Learning Center, Tayo Daycare, Minnesota Child Care Center. Wait, you guys see this, right? Yeah, okay. Mini Child Care Center, Sweet Angel Care Center, ABC Learning Center, Minnesota Best Child Care Center. And I think there was a bunch more. When I read this, I thought you were talking about the encyclopedia of daycares that Nick went to. But back then, I'm old enough for that. I'm 36. We had an encyclopedia. Sean said, when are we going to be able to download info into our brains matrix style? Well, I mean, that comes with a lot of baggage. All that Neuralink stuff. Shout out to Cheddar Steve. Welcome to the party. That's called Orange Land now. It is now. Angry said, so what if he's retarded? Doesn't lessen the fraud. Bingo. Yep. And so then that raises the question, if that's the case, then what exactly is Nick upset about? And we'll go back to the video and see. So these state investigators were able to find the fake businesses that no one else could find. You're stuck in the lefty living land. Yep. What do you mean? That is confirmation. When you show up with government documents saying you are supposed to be open at this time and have this many kids here, and there are no kids there, that is confirmation of fraud. It's not more complicated than that. So, all right. So yeah, these are the clips that Nick is.
This clip right here.
What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Austin. Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah. Nashville's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean,
name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
Well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
Denver.
Why are you smirking? It's not prospering.
All right, so that's the clip Andrew posted, but this is the actual interaction of how it went.
Denver.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering.
It's not. See, you can't even answer the question. It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
So that part was not left in, and like Nick said,
Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
Kind of weird that Andrew didn't put that in, right? Maybe his base or something would not be happy with that response because he obviously got caught lying. And anyways, let's move over to the next topic when we're talking about Somalians being known for pirating, as 89% of the fraud that has been charged inside of Minnesota is by Somalians. This is the interaction that Andrew posted.
Yeah, so let's not forget that Nick isn't a cop. Nick isn't an FBI investigator. He's just a dude. It's so weird that this has been politicized. They're stealing all of our money equally. What's the political part of it?
Like community, or do you see it as both?
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that statistic from?
You can pull it up on.
That's not true, dude. That's not true. Even years before this, they've been the Leering Center was shut down because of the state auditors going in there and showing that there was other issues. That's just not true. We've seen the videos from the politicians. What are you talking about? I keep questioning his intelligence. That Morin found more fraud than the governor could. Hey, if he's a retard, then dilly to that retard. There you go. There you go.
You'll find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
For sure, just so I can, I don't know, I believe you. I just want to make sure we have the exact.
Here, right here. Yeah, and it's not racist to say it. Probably. And when I go.
This is what happens when I show him the fact that 89% of the people who have been charged for fraud in Minnesota are Somalians. This is what Andrew had to say. But remember, he conveniently left this out of the interview.
89% of those charged in connection with major. Wow, identified as Somali Americans. Well, looks like we got redo there with it. I'm interested to see what you put in this interview.
And already, Nick calling it out. Are you going to cut this out? Because this doesn't look good for you. You're on the left. Come on, switch over. Why are we struggle streaming? Hold on. Oh, that's working. Come on. Move me over. There we go. Already, he's like, I can see that you might want to cut things out. Guys, we gotta get more to your treat. Otherwise, I gotta turn the ads on. I don't want to turn the ads on for you guys. Come on, let's get more to your treat.
There's a problem with fraud.
So there you go. That's just two examples from the interview with Andrew Callaghan, where he literally went out of his way to try and make me look bad, which is not cool. And I wouldn't say that's very benevolent of him to do by any means. But I promise you guys, if I ever do an interview with anyone, you're going to get the full product, because I think that's just the most benevolent thing to do. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys were able to see through.
So again, since this is just a shorter video, we'll go and Andrew here was talking about most of what we cut out was dead air. And so we have the before and after.
I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the HHS, Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
And so again, just a little choppy. Okay, we'll get to you, Drew. Don't worry, I ain't forget about your brother. A little choppy, but a normal conversation. But then you edit it down, And that same thing sounds like this.
Does that make you feel like gratification-wise as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota, and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses.
So
that sounds a lot better. So far, all that's happened is that Andrew has tried to, as far as Andrew's video, all he's tried to do is make him look better. But as we saw with Nick's video, there was a couple key points that Andrew said out loud that he purposely cut out. But let's shout out our boy Drew with the $5. Thank you so very, very much. Remember, guys, every single donation comes with a treat for the Overlord. Take it, a lazy bum. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Very, very much appreciated. And no ads for anybody. So I better see some likes on that super chat. Drew is paving the way. We got Full Metal Chat in the building. Welcome. So I support what Nick is trying to do, but he has a low charisma stat. Yep. They're patching the Leering Center. No, they fixed it. It's still on the wrong Nicolette Street, but they fixed it. Is there going to be any kids there? Probably not. But hey, at least they got the sign right. Yeah, exactly. Come on. Shout out again to Drew. Thank you, sir. Let's dive back in.
This is to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses.
So in that interview, we probably did that same thing as far as trimming dead air and splicing B-roll. No joke. Probably 30 times, as you can see here on the timeline. And it was never to take him out of context, but to help him get his point across. We do this for every good faith interview or 5cast we've conducted so far. From Hunter Biden, which had a raw runtime of 5 hours before being cut to 324, to Hunter Kozak, to Alex Jones, to Hamilton Morris, to Jan DeSanti, to pretty much everybody we've ever talked to.
Exactly.
And so again, just showing an example of, hey, we do this, and this is how this is done. We cut out dead air. We want people to pay attention. If you're not saying anything important or you're saying something, in left field, we're going to cut it out.
100% not. Is that the and there's this conflation that people have. I think they're opening up an investigation to cocaine that was found in a cubby outside the the West Wing of the White House.
We aren't live streamers or live podcasters, and we like to package our interviews for efficiency and entertainment value. So that's just something that we do. So the other cuts in the
that's actually, he had some type of career before that and got canceled for something. I'm not exactly sure what the story is. But yeah, somebody was talking about. Oh, well, if we get to I'm sure we'll get to the Asmongold part, but Asmongold was talking about how he got canceled and he was coming back, and, he's closer now to people on the left for whatever happened. Hey, shout out to TV Viewerski. Welcome to the party. Oh, and we got a big $10 PayPal. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. Fan funded. I don't like calling you guys fans. That's kind of gay. Viewer funded. Thank you. And of course, sir, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. And then they're like, what? And I was saying, hey, I would bet money that Coke was not Hunter Biden's. A, because he's a crackhead, and B, because when you're a crackhead, you are not losing drugs. And as King said, unless you're on benzos, but rich or benzos. Entertainment for his audience. Hey, I enjoyed it, but I want the truth, and I want to see that even though Nick is saying the things that he's been saying, and you are engaging in a conversation, when you have those moments of, Nick, you're right. You didn't cut out any moments of, hey, Nick, you're wrong, or hey, I'm right, or hey, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, no. I would assume he's just on a regular flight, but maybe. Shout out to Asmongold, the Roach King. Just there is also the question: if someone sounds retarded or whatever, should you make them sound smart? Is that honest? I get what you're saying, but I don't think that the industry standard level of editing is that level of changing, because there's an aspect of, you're nervous, you don't know what's going on. Definitely could have been. And so I think it depends on how much you edit it. And so if somebody's like, well, I don't know, but like maybe there's a thing that, like, and you cut it to make it seem like I know exactly what it is. That is dishonest. But I don't think, kind of making it a little bit more snappy. I don't see any issue with that. All right, let's dive back in. Oh, we got I Am That I Am. Welcome to Experienced Being Dumb because another presently seen it. What? Welcome. Lois, I don't think Nick Shirley is making that Leering Center money to be able to rent a plane. Yeah, he wasn't on. Wait, what plane are you guys talking about? Did I miss something? What plane are you guys talking about?
To package our interviews for efficiency and entertainment value. So that's just something that we do. So the other cuts in the Nick Shirley.
Like he is on a plane, but this doesn't look like a fucking private jet. This looks like he's in coach. Come on.
Our interviews for efficiency and entertainment value. So that's just something that we do. So the other cuts in the Nick Shirley interview that weren't dead air related were conversational beats that I personally found either boring, repetitive, or so off topic to the point that they derailed the conversation away from its intended focus, which was fraud in Minnesota and Shirley's personal background. We cut probably 25 minutes of unproductive, redundant banter about Portland, Mormonism, gay marriage, his new crypto coin. I heard you also made a coin of some kind.
I didn't make a coin. I just joined a platform where you can monetize your content, and there actually, so yeah, it is a coin. You can.
Shady. Never, ever, 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 ever buy a coin from a streamer, a YouTuber, or anything like that you have not personally, directly research and understand what you're researching. Outside of like Dogecoin, which is specifically just, let's throw money at this thing. Outside of that, that's fair. You can have a little bit of Doge, just, be part of the joke or whatever. But don't do it. Trump included. Do not buy Trump coin.
You can monetize your content, and there actually, so yeah, it is a coin. You can then monetize your content, just similar to like how you upload on TikTok. You can upload your stuff on there. It's just based off Coinbase.
The history and ethics of welfare in America, and 6 whole, nearly identical back and forths about his 89% statistic that he falls back on when challenged.
Oh, I would definitely take Raid Shadow Legends money, but I wouldn't take BetterHelp money. I wouldn't take Fume money. I definitely wouldn't. I feel like I've seen people do Temu ads. I wouldn't do Temu. But I mean, hey, if they throw money at me, you don't want ads and shit. That's where it's gonna come from, unless you guys really step it up.
Whole, nearly identical back and forths about his 89% statistic that he falls back on when challenged.
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians, and 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by the Somali population. 89% of the fraud happening by people who were brought into our country and then committing fraud. So 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from the Somali population.
Right, but 95% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are legal.
Yeah, 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
Since we ended up including an extensive dialogue about that stat around the 50-minute mark of the final cut, I personally didn't feel the...
Hold on a second.
Of the fraud is being committed by Somalians, and 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota.
Because what's your name? 50 megs or was saying that the 89% stat is wrong, and the 89% that I know is the welfare, but now he is saying fraud. But that's exactly that's what I'm thinking, and that's why Andrew pushes back, saying that most of them are citizens.
Of the fraud is being committed by Somalians, and 89% of the...
So 89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians, which does not mean 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
Fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by the Somali population. 89% of the fraud happening by people who were brought into our country and then committing fraud. So 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from the Somali population.
Right, but 95% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are legal.
Right. So far, he hasn't said anything about illegal or legal. He said Somalis. Of the of the fraud, 89% of it is Somalis.
Yeah, 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
Since we ended up including...
So I guess Andrew didn't even catch that or, want to push back on that, because he did change it from 89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians to 89% of Somalians are committing fraud. Those are two very different things. Now, I'm willing to say that he just misspoke because he said it, 8 times. But the point is, he said it, and that is the words that came out of his mouth. 89's low. I mean, at this point, we know it's too much, too many, very high. Whether it's 89, 92, 76, it's a fucking problem. Shout out to where are we go? Shout out to Boss. Welcome. That's where all gas, no brakes. Okay, I knew that we were just talking about he came from somewhere. For way longer than Nick. But so does that mean that you've been following Trump a lot longer than you've been following Nick? So do you trust Trump more than Andrew? Or does that not make sense? Welcome to the party. How does he know the 5% are illegal? I don't know. 11. Yeah. Right. Well, and I mean, that includes just non-Somalians. And so, when you say 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalians, that does not disqualify them from being American. You can be a Somali person in America with citizenship. When he says 89% of Somalians are committing fraud, that is a much, much, much different statement. So again, I am willing to say that he misspoke because of the number of times that he said the same thing in the exact way, and he only said it that way one time, and the fact that Andrew himself, who is now defending himself against Nick, didn't be like, see how the first 17 times he said 89% of the fraud, and then he tried to smuggle in 89% of Somalians? So, I don't know. We'll see. So far, people are trusting Nick a lot more than Andrew, but we're going to have to do another poll in a little bit. You said, so look what the 5% is getting away with. That's what he's saying. Then he misspoke. I'm willing, but it is, I'm frustrated that Andrew didn't catch that to address it. Because, again, he's been pretty charitable to Nick, saying that, other people are calling him retarded, but I think he just, mispronounced the word. Other people are saying that that Nick is saying that it's most of Somalians, but I think he just misspoke because of the number of times he said 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalians, not 89% of Somalians are doing fraud. Now, they said the big fraud bust they just did was led by some white women, but the convictions, 89% of them were Somali. 42.3% of stats are made up on the spot. If you were a Hymn fan, you would say 83%, and that would be funny. But you're not. And it's still a little bit funny. Two very different things. Shout out to David, said, I never heard that. I only heard him say 89% of the fraud was performed by Somali. So that's exactly what we're looking for. So we look at the counter here. I'll move the chat. Well, okay, you can see the number. But we could see the 89% counter
of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
So 89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians. That is the correct statement.
And 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by the Somali population.
Correct.
89% of the fraud happening by people who were brought into our country and then committing fraud.
Now,
89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from the Somali population.
Of the fraud. Now, listen to what he says. 89% of what?
Right, but 95% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are legal.
Yeah, 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
That's a very different statement. And so again, I'm willing to say, I'm willing to give him that, given that he's not a good orator, that he misspoke. And he was saying the same thing, and he just misspoke. I also take heed the fact that Andrew, being on the defense right now, didn't hone in on that. I think if he thought that Nick legitimately was trying to say 89% of Somalians are committing fraud, then Andrew, either in the moment or if he didn't catch it during editing, he would want to bring that up. So I don't know. TV said in this day and age, you do both: edit and release raw footage and let the people decide. Put some stank on that fraud. Yep. Yeah, no problem. Like, hey, I'm here to get the truth. Like I said, people are saying everything has been debunked, and then you got it. I'll show it. I don't play teams except Team America. Fuck yeah!
But are legal.
Yeah, 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
Since we ended up including an
Not yet. I have not seen that yet.
extensive dialogue about that stat around the 50-minute mark of the final cut, I personally didn't feel the need to torture all of you guys with 5 other versions of that conversation.
89% of the population, or 89% of the fraud being committed in...
Oh, wait.
89% of the population, or 89...
That's a misspeak. I am taking that because he corrected himself here. So that tells me that the entire time he was trying to say the same thing he's been saying. We're up to number 6 now. He's been trying to say 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalis. Not 80%, 89% of Somalis commit fraud. So that was the question. And now on this next turn, we see exactly that he corrects himself.
5 other versions of that conversation.
89% of the population, or 89% of the fraud being committed in Minnesota is by Somalians.
And so this is, I'm going to assume, based on the fact that we're still counting up, that the number, oh, come on, I hate when this motherfucker does this. I think the fact that we have, there we go, beautiful. The fact that we have him saying it so many times, and only one did he use a thing that I think if he was pushed on it, he'd be like, oh, no, I mixed that up, specifically because he corrected himself.
And just so we can put that on screen to verify, do you know where that data is from?
Yes, you can put it up on screen. It's public.
And if you watch that raw cut, the 2-hour cut, which I made clear in text with...
Okay, so, yeah, again, so we remember that Nick was in at the time of the interview. He was saying, oh, is this going to be cut up or is this going to be the raw thing? And then they asked him to repeat things multiple times. So he knew that they were going to be cutting it up. Yet, after the fact, after it dropped, I was just curious why you didn't post the full 2-hour interview instead of the 1 hour. So primarily cut it down because of either dead air, but also trimmed topics. Mainly ones that felt unfocused or took listeners away from the main topic of the fraud, new media, your upbringing and style, etc. Pretty standard for us when it comes to raw, long-form interviews. For Hunter Biden, we shaved off even more. If you want, I can send you the raw angles and audio. I can send you a clip for your own channel. And so that brings into question whether or not the raw footage that Nick showed us is even his own footage, or if that's what Andrew sent to him.
Nick that I was willing to share with him in 4K when I got back from Greenland, you will see exactly what I mean. This is not a Sacha Baron Cohen style ambush edit or a Jim Jeffries Abiy Yemeni situation where I primed him, by saying crazy shit to get his guard down and then Shanghai him with post-production. I was trying to help Nick Shirley, which it seems up until yesterday, he really appreciated. So after the interview came out about a week ago, he texted me right after saying the backdrop of this interview is hilarious. It was filmed in his uncle's upscale game room in Farmington, Utah, in front of several taxidermied bears that were presumably killed by the Shirley family. He goes on to say, fun watching the reaction from both sides. Appreciate you coming out. Wish you the best in all you do, bro. To which I replied kindly. But then the Clippers started doing the thing that they do to Hunter Biden, finding the most outrageous or dumb soundbite in the entire piece and naming it into oblivion while missing the entire point of the dialogue, which was to try to find common ground on issues like affordability and the collapse of the mainstream media. I mean, I fundamentally hope that everything you're saying is true, just so you know.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, I
hope we all have the best interest in society and for our
mainstream media. Just then, Wish you the best in all you do, bro. To which I replied kindly. But then the Clippers started doing the thing that they do counterbind it, finding the most outrageous or dumb soundbite in the entire piece and naming it into oblivion while missing the entire point of the dialogue, which was to try to find common ground on issues like affordability and the collapse of the mainstream media. I mean, I fundamentally
Was it this part?
hope that everything you're saying is true, just so you know.
What can you ask this more in a more specific way? I don't know what you're referring to. Just I hope Trump names Greenland Orange Land when he gets it. It would make the libs so mad. Do we really need to make the libs any more mad? I think they exist in a permanent state of anger. So and now they're getting more and more violent. So maybe just leave it Greenland until we get the next president. Then it can be Orange Land.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope we all have the best interest in society and for our people, because the affordability is insane and people can't buy houses. And if we're talking about creating change, we need to let innovation prosper inside the United States.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing it. We're not seeing innovation. In fact, we're seeing fraudsters take our money.
If you guys saw, the clip that did the most rounds was when they tried and failed to pronounce the word benevolent. Who do you think are the 3 most benevolent billionaires?
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Just well-intentioned, positive billionaires who you think are creating, net positive societal progress.
Trump, our president?
Because he never said it right and said benevolent twice, there was no way to cut the dead air or trim the stammer. So we left it in. And personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not know that word. I mean,
So again, I know most of you have already seen this part, but the notion that it is Andrew who is saying, oh, because he said benevolent instead of benevolent, that he's stupid or wrong. That wasn't him. He has explicitly said the opposite. But bringing up the fact that we're having trouble saying words, this side quest is so good that I'm not even going to play the video that we're watching while I find it, because it is directly relevant to this.
Every time that I'm in a rush, and I try not to be in a rush.
Hold on. TikTok for the win once again. There's this Asian chick who is like, why is English so hard? And I mean, it's a skit, but oh, come on. Did I really not repost this chick? God damn, I guess I didn't. All right, give me 1 second here. We gonna find this. This is necessary. Why is English so hard? Boom. Copy link. Put it in the Discord, which again, guys, is absolutely free to join. The link is pinned if you are on the vertical stream. Or excuse me, it is pinned if you're on the landscape stream. If you are a Verdi, I will throw the link in the chat. Absolutely free to join. All right, so side quest time. And we'll caption this like
Cospis.
Nick. We'll call this Nick Shirley be like
Cospis.
Conspicuous.
Cospis.
That wasn't quite right.
Conspicuous. Conspicuous.
간바테이프.
not bad.
What's combataboo? It's convertible.
Kapita.
Cut up the
Wait, no, we gotta go back.
cut up the broccoli.
Wow, great changes.
Hold on, I just want a couple more.
Cucumba.
Cucumber.
Cucumba.
No. What's cucumber? Try again.
cucumber, cucumber, cucumber.
Hey, that works.
Cucumber. Gambatebu, gambatebu.
What? We gotta hear this one. Oh my.
Aluminum, aluminum,
Aluminum.
aluminum.
Let's pause to troubleshoot. Ooh.
Ooh.
Aluminum.
Aluminum,
Let's get specific.
aluminum, aluminum, aluminum.
Spontaneity.
This is a new one. All right, last one.
Why, you're calling a cat or what? Say it again. Spontaneity.
Let's
Let's just move on.
All right. But exactly. Where is it? Shout out to TikTok for the win, as always. Best platform there is. Meat is $10 a pound, but come to me and I'll give you the family discount. Yeah, I mean, friends discount. That was weird. Okay, you know what I mean. Okay, diving back in here.
Societal progress.
Trump, our president.
Because he never said it right and said benevolent twice, there was no way to cut the dead air or trim the stammer. So we left it in. And personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not know that word. I mean, he is wearing a hoodie that is making fun of immigrants for their spelling errors, but benevolent has more syllables than learning, so I get it. But the comments on this clip were brutal, like actually genuinely mean. And it couldn't have felt good from his perspective to read these things.
Yeah, but he told us that he was enjoying the response from both sides. So what's the complaint?
We're talking tens of thousands of people declaring this guy is retarded, which he's not. But there are some moments in the interview that even with dead air trimmed for speed, Nick does not give his best performance, particularly when blaming immigrants for...
That would have been better. That would have been better. Good job.
The air trimmed for speed, Nick does not give his best performance, particularly when blaming immigrants for rising rent prices.
It's just simple supply and demand. If you have 20 million people who need to come and buy a house or rent an apartment, and you have other people who need it, you're going to raise the prices.
Suggesting that Muslim Americans keep multiple wives in private while dismissing the association with his own religion, Mormonism, and polygamy as just a harmful stereotype. As far as the wives go, that's not a thing in Utah.
It's not a thing in Utah.
Isn't it though?
A negative stereotype.
Negative stereotype.
And also confronting me about staying silent on the death of Charlie Kirk, while admitting that he consciously chose to not watch the video that I made in the immediate aftermath of it.
All right, this is damning. This is bad. This is not anything that goes. You can't spin this for Nick. You can't spin this for Nick. Oh, sorry, TV. Let me get you in the banner.
While admitting that he consciously chose to not watch the video that I made in the immediate aftermath of it.
And so I thought that was kind of messed up of you to not publicly denounce what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I did.
And I didn't even watch the interview because I didn't want to watch that.
Bruh.
Well, you should.
Bruh. How dare you not do the thing that you did? He's like, no, I did. Just watch it. I'm not watching that. I don't even want to. That's some gay shit. That's some gay woke shit. Sorry, man. Like, you did amazing work with the fraud, but that's fucking gay.
Kind of messed up of you to not publicly denounce what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I did.
And I didn't even watch the interview because I didn't want to watch that.
Well, you should watch it.
I don't want to.
Well, you should watch the video because I say some stuff in it.
Okay, cool.
None of these moments were a very good look for Nick.
The purity testing. See, this is Coach. This motherfucker walking around like that. We got the overhead bins. This ain't first class. I've never flown first class, but I've flown Coach a lot, and it looks like that. But yeah, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? You should be very, very, very happy that you had the opportunity for that moment to be like, how dare you? Oh, wait. I didn't watch it, and you did do the thing. And he didn't put that in the interview. So you should shut your fucking mouth, because most of us were already on your side, Nick.
But I did not engineer them that way. And if I was a betting man, I would suggest that much of the hostility displayed toward him in the comments is because his reporting, which was signal boosted by Trump and his cronies, has been a driving factor in ICE's decision to escalate their presence in Minneapolis.
Shout out to Court Mankind. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Said Nick Shirley is clearly low IQ. Andrew Callaghan has gone full libtard. I feel like the low IQ thing is it's become the new Nazi. It's become the new racist. He's not low IQ. He's just not well spoken. Those are very different things. But yeah, that's a bad look, brother. That's a bad look. And yeah, if just for that one moment where he is being woke as fuck, saying, how dare you do the thing that you did, but I won't watch it. Keep your fucking mouth shut. Take the win. Take the win. You asked for this. You Renee Good this.
Kidnapping kids from local high schools, terrorizing U.S. citizens in their own communities, shooting people in the streets, and hiding behind masks like the goddamn cowards they are. However, that's just my personal opinion. I don't like ICE. I don't like Trump, which is something that I made clear to Nick in the interview.
What do you think about Trump?
I don't like him. There was no deception anywhere. But sometimes, and I'm not sure what the word is for this in the journalism field, the person that you interview views your fans as an extension of you. So if your fans are dicks to them, they kind of feel like that's you shading them. And that's
so how far are we doing? So let him finish the sentence, because I don't.
It's definitely what happened.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree. I think what happened here is that because that line of, oh, I'm enjoying watching both sides, the reactions. No, the fuck you're not. You were clearly butthurt. You were clearly upset that people were making fun of you. And so you felt like you had to, and as Andrew just said, because it was people who were fans of Andrew, then it by extension, in your mind, remember, he's a young dude, he's like 23 or something. That becomes, oh, now Andrew is making fun of me. So now I have to get back at Andrew. But that's a very immature way to address this whole thing. I mean, it definitely wasn't. I mean, it certainly wasn't super heated, but I don't think it was meant to be a fluff piece. And I mean, Callaghan is on the left, so kind of makes sense. But here, I love what Nick has done in terms of the fraud. But this don't look good, bro. This don't look good at all.
Your fans are dicks to them, they kind of feel like that's you shading them. And that's definitely what happened. Right after the benevolent clip went micro-viral, Nick began to send texts to me that alluded to the footage being manipulated.
All right, what do you got? So, this is the same thing that we said before. So remember, in the interview, he asked about cuts. They had him repeat things, so on and so forth. So he knew in that moment that it was going to be clipped and not a raw thing. But he was just curious why he didn't post the full 2-hour interview, primarily to cut down on dead air, but also trim topics. We cut out more from Hunter Biden, and we can send you the raw angles if you and audio if you want. What are we? So, I'm not. I, despite the fact that I have an illustrious bachelor's degree in psychology, I'm not going to be fucking diagnosing people. It's just very clear that he don't speak words that good. Do we need to know if he don't speak words very good because of Asperger's or because of a traumatic brain injury or because he's shy? He don't speak words very good. That's what matters here.
Writing, Greenland will be epic and cold. Let me know if you need any locals. I still have some contacts there. Just curious though, why didn't you post a full 2+ hour interview instead of the selected 1 hour of the interview? Notice the word selected. Nick suggests that I cherry picked his worst moments, which is concerning because we consciously did the opposite.
And that is fair on both sides. It's fair for Nick to feel like, because you did selectively edit it, you selected what went in the final product. So from Nick's perspective, that is what happened. Maybe that wasn't your intention, And maybe that is not even a fair interpretation of what is meant by selectively editing. But he's not wrong in that. You selected the parts that you were going to keep in, and you selected the parts that you were going to take out.
Suggests that I cherry picked his worst moments, which is concerning because we consciously did the opposite. But as you can see from these texts, I explained our entire editing process to him, as I did to all of you. And as I mentioned, even offered to send him all of the raw video files when I get home from Greenland, which I'm doing now, and gave him full permission to clip any and all moments of the piece for his own socials.
Yep. That's the Zoomer mindset. The Zoomer mindset. They'll grow up. They'll grow up. But the problem is that some of them, like your Nick Fuentes types, they get such a big hit, whether positive or negative, in Nick's case negative, when he was so young that he's stuck in that. And it's so big that I don't think that he even has the desire to grow out of what has gotten him in trouble and evolve his message, to make sure that he's not just the edgy kid who people want to see because he's funny, but you're actually doing things to make society the way that you want it to go.
Fast forward.
Hit the poll, guys. If you are on Vertical or if you are on Rumble, the question is, who is more wrong in this situation? Who is more wrong? You might think that one of them is completely wrong and one of them is not wrong at all. You might think it's 50-50. You might think it's like 60-40, whatever. Who is more wrong?
To 2 days later, I wake up in Nuuk, Greenland to see that Nick has posted a video filmed on a side camera, captioned something like, "In case you guys want to know how the interview..."
Let's see what this says. Thought people deserve to see how the interview actually went. When you sit down and agree to do a podcast-style interview, you expect the full interview to be posted, not a chopped-up version where it only shows one side of the story. No, Nick. You knew. You asked, and it was answered. You asked him if this was going to be cut up, and he said yes. So you knew that. And again, industry standard. I was cool with Andrew. And he knew he thought differently than me politically, but thought it would be an interesting and honest conversation. However, when I saw him post the interview, I thought, what is this? That's not how the interview went. And it was obvious he just wanted to make me look bad for whatever reason. Now, I don't disagree that it wasn't my best interview. I wasn't in the best mental and physical shape after 72 hours of the most crazy days of my life, but I agreed to do the interview anyways. Good lesson. Don't do that. Anyways. Good lesson for me and for you, guy, too. I wish Andrew and Channel 5 the best in whatever they do in the future, and hope we both leer to avoid this situation in the future, as it's benevolent. The benevolent thing to do. However, at the end of the day, this wasn't cool to do. Full interview is available on my second channel on his thing. So, again, he's projecting the hate that's coming from Nick's fans from Andrew's fans onto Andrew himself. And so, I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty split. Core said 70-30 Nick up, meaning that Andrew is more wrong. Interesting. All right, let's see.
A side camera captioned something like, "In case you guys want to know how the interview really went, here's this." Nick's bullshit crybaby video here points to two pieces of damning evidence. Exhibit A. Nick grills me here about Democrat cities being catastrophic.
It's almost like I'm very deliberate with my language.
Evidence. Exhibit A. Nick grills me here about Democrat cities being catastrophic failures after failing to understand that I am not a supporter of the Democrat Party. I am from Seattle, a failed blue city, and then asks me to name thriving blue cities. So I named Austin, Nashville, El Paso, and then while smirking, I mentioned Denver because, as shown in Nick's angle, I didn't actually know if Denver was doing well because I don't spend much time in Colorado.
Remember, guys, we got a special something for Morty if we hit the goal. And of course, these puny little arms got to do those push-ups.
when have you seen an American city? What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Austin.
Nope.
Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah. I think.
Why you think
it's doing better? New bars and restaurants have opened, but I can probably think of some better examples.
Like what? Where?
Nashville.
But even like at face value, this is a weird kind of thing. Okay, name a city. Okay, I did name a city. Okay, now name another one. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. That's moving the goalpost. That's moving the goalpost. You said name a city that's prospering, and I named a city that's prospering. You said cities weren't prospering. Matthew said, I know which one. Said ISIS kidnapping and abducting people, and it wasn't Nick. What does that have to do with this situation, though? Are you just picking teams because you like what he says better? Or are you critically analyzing the situation? Alexa, Denver has always been chill when I was there. I go every year for 420. Shout out to 420. Hey, shout out to Jeru again. Thank you so very, very much. That's such a good overlord. He's the best. Oh man, I follow this chick on TikTok who just does restaurant skits, and just like bad customers and sometimes it's like, a sweet thing. She did one today. Well, I saw it today. And it's her and serving one old dude, and it just sits out on the patio and orders a steak by himself, but orders a steak and gets an extra plate. And he's getting all the stuff, and the steak comes, and the guy pulls out a Morty. It doesn't look exactly like Morty, but an old dog. And he's like, "This is it's his birthday, but it's his last birthday." We went to the vet, and they said he's probably not going to make it till the next birthday. And so, he loves steak. So I just wanted to come out here. And my wife died a few years ago. So it's just been me and him. And I was dying. Tears. So good overlord indeed. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Let's dive right back in.
New bars and restaurants have opened, but I can probably think of some better examples.
Like what?
Nashville's doing good. Austin's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
So now it's not just name a city. Now it's not just name 4 cities, but name a Democrat city. That's moving the goalpost, Nick.
Well, it would have to be one that's
and I don't even really understand what the point is at this point where he's named all these cities. You just got to abandon the point that cities are doing bad, or acknowledge you're saying okay, maybe not just cities in general, but definitely the Democrat-run cities. Just acknowledge that you're shifting. Don't try to act like you're not.
Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
Well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
A city inside of a blue state that is prospering. Denver.
It's been hard. Like he'll take the when he gets the peanut butter, obviously he doesn't finish the whole thing. So he'll lick as much as he can. And then do we have any down here? We don't have any down here, but I mean, you're smart. You can figure it out. We have like the peanut butter, and he can get his head like that far in. So there's like a line around, and then the rest is still the remnant peanut butter that I couldn't use for my protein shakes with the spoon. And so I'll take one of his bones, and then I'll scoop some of that and kind of drape it all around the inside of the peanut butter jar, and he gets it again. And usually it's like, okay, once you get a one thing, I'll scoop it up and give it to you, and then leave me alone. But yesterday he came back and he was kind of whining, and I shouldn't give in to it because he was like, and like scratching at the thing, being like, "Yo, I know there's more in there." And usually I'm like, "Nope. You got one. You can have more tomorrow." But I gave him 2 because he's Morty. I mean, come on. Look at him. How do you say no to that? Bucks from Minnesota said my city is doing pretty well. We are a blue city surrounded by a red state. I'm going to hope it's not Minneapolis. I'm going to assume it's not Minneapolis. All right, diving back in. Thank you very, very much. Oh my goodness! Unwanted foe coming in hot with a big 10. No question, no comment, just pure love of the Overlord. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much, sir. And of course, that makes you the new co-sponsor of the stream. Very, very much appreciated. Always glad to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are trying to see, is Nick Shirley a liar? Or is he just a little beta?
A city inside of a blue state that is prospering. Denver.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering.
Because it's not.
I'm just
See, you can't even answer the question, dude. It's not prospering. Denver's not.
And again, just weird vibes. Like, why are you getting angry at him? You should be happy. Like, see, I told you. Why you can't even answer the question, bro.
It's not. See, you can't even answer the question, dude.
Weird energy. Weird energy.
It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
But in post-production, I did some research and found out that my intuition was correct. Denver is currently experiencing a decline in violence and property crime, a large
As of when? As of when? I guess it's going to go back to 2020. What are we looking at? So, housing, continuing increase in occupied apartment units. Okay. So, downtown Denver, total occupied multifamily units, and then they highlight Center City total occupied. So you're saying more people are getting in homes? Is that what we're saying?
It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
But in post-production, I did some research and found out that my intuition was correct. Denver is currently experiencing a decline in violence and property.
So violent crimes down from 2022. Doesn't count unless it's pre-COVID, because then we're just getting back to the status quo.
Crime,
property crime.
My intuition was correct. Denver is currently experiencing a decline in violence.
So property crime down 14% as of when? 27% drop in stolen cars as of when? I don't think anybody's arguing that since COVID, crime across the nation has gone down. But that doesn't mean that crime is better than it was 5 years ago. Yeah, crimes are crime reporting. Let's not forget in California, where they just changed the type of categorization that they're using, where having CSAM is not a violent crime. Sleeping with like a 14-year-old is not a violent crime according to California. So you can find numbers. I would suggest you lock your doors. Just saying. How diverse is your town or city? I don't know if Duluth is a Duluth. It was close. But yeah, is that like a city thing? Is that like is it suburban? Is it like a small urban center? What's the situation?
Some property crime, a large influx in population,
Wait, a large influx of population of American citizens or just people in general?
Experiencing a decline in violence and property crime, a large influx in population, job growth, and
a large influx in population. That is not necessarily a good thing. Yeah, in Minnesota. Shout out to Philly. Welcome. We close. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. So yeah, all these numbers are catered in a way to make it seem like it's doing better than it actually is. That doesn't mean that Denver is not improving, but thriving requires that your crime is not the same that it was 5 years ago. Yup.
Aerospace, tech, and healthcare sectors, and a number of other great things. So I chose to trim a brief section after I mentioned Denver that indicates a bit of self-doubt, given that I ended up being correct. I also trimmed a sound.
You didn't, though.
Soundbite where I said that many Democrat cities are run poorly because it was redundant. After our conversation about Denver, I then launched into a tirade about how I am not a Democrat, don't believe in the capacity of the two-party system to enact meaningful change, believe that Gavin Newsom has misappropriated California's tax revenue through NGOs, reinforce my belief in voting on a local level.
AKA, I'm not a bad liberal. I mean, fair enough. We have some liberals here. Not every liberal is bad, but just because this is almost a similar cop out to what I was talking about with libertarianism, where you go, I don't buy into the two-party system, so they're just all wrong. You don't ever have to stand ground on everything. It's just like, nope, that's evil. The government sucks. We shouldn't do that. And you have this idealistic way to present a worldview that is never possible, so you never have to deal with critique of it. Not a good place to be. You suggest my mayor, Brandon Johnson. Crime numbers are great. Are they though? Probably not though.
And then give Nick the benefit of the doubt and say that I hope he's right about Trump and the GOP's ability to mitigate the affordability crisis. It's made many places like my hometown, Seattle, unlivable for those who grew up there. So
So you came from Seattle, did you? That'll make a sense.
support voting on a local level for sure. I also suggest if you're watching this and you want to see videos that I've made about dysfunctional blue cities, watch San Francisco streets, Albuquerque streets,
Okay, so I think that's essentially, let's jump ahead a little bit.
Las Vegas blood interview is so disingenuous. The second clip that Nick posted really makes my blood boil because it is so disingenuous. As I mentioned, 6 or 7 times in this interview, Nick references the stat that 89% of fraud in Minnesota is committed by Somalis. We aired the version where we asked him to show us the data on his phone, which he found using Google search results powered by ChatGPT. So in the
I think this is a hidden gnosis. If you're still here, that's what you were asking about.
Video he posted, we can see me look in the camera after he shows it to me and saying something like, all right, damn, I guess he's right then.
Right, and you didn't include that in the video. That is what Nick is upset about. You giving him, oh, damn, you are correct. That is currency in this industry. And so for you to cut that out is softening his point. Not different than trying to make him look stupid. Different than trying to make him look retarded. But still disingenuous.
Look in the camera after he shows it to me and saying something like, all right, damn, I guess he's right then. Let's put that on screen.
Yeah, why wasn't that in the final cut?
Here, right here, the figure 89% does not represent the total percentage of all fraud in Minnesota. Instead, it refers to the percentage of individuals charged in connection with specific high-profile federal fraud cases. Volumes.
89% of those charged in connection with major.
So,
wow.
Identified as Somalian Americans.
Well, looks like we.
Right. So, well, wait. Hold on. Okay, hold on.
89% of those charged in connection with major. Wow.
Identified as Somalian Americans.
Well, looks like we do. It looks like
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview because
looks like there is a problem with fraud.
Oh, hold on. I was under the impression, it is a big deal. I was under the impression that was cut out. But what we just saw was from Andrew Thing. The question is that in the original video? So I'm going to get the, so we'll do Nick, Shirley, Andrew Callaghan. We're going to pull this up. We're going to get the,
also
the
an American
original.
who doesn't know any Somalis.
So then we want to get, come on, the transcript, and I want to get the exact words. Looks like we've got to, let me go back here, Control F. Looks like, uh-oh. Not there. So what does that mean? That Andrew just showed us this, implying the implication when you come from this angle, that the angle that the podcast that was dropped, the implication, he's not saying it out loud, but the implication is that this was in the original. And that's why I was a little confused, because I'm like, hold on. If that was in the interview that dropped, then what is Nick mad about? But again, this is the response. So we show. So again, we
89% of
have Nick's camera.
those charged in connection with major. Wow.
Identified as Somalian Americans.
Well.
And so then it cuts back to here. Now we're looking as if we're watching the original video. This is raw footage from that interview, but this is not in the interview.
Looks like it looks like
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview.
So let's try that specifically. I'm interested. Come on, god damn it. Oh my fuck. Yeah, it's not even that. Him saying I'm interested in what you're gonna put in here. This is the only interested in. And it's a fucking ad. Oh my
people
god.
In the country don't care about people like you and I. And they're interested in making as much profit.
Ooh. So if those words were in the original thing, we would be able to find it. Let's just be extra sure and find a different word.
Somalian Americans.
Well, looks like it looks like
I'm interested to see what you put in this.
So let's do. Did I do looks like? I feel like I put looks like.
This interview, because
we'll do this interview. Where? No. So we got that one.
Out when I tweeted that. That's the lady who I was referring to earlier in this interview.
Comments.
So her staff was the people that David had received information from, because David reached out and she works inside.
So we're just here.
Out when I tweeted that. That's the lady who I was referring to earlier in this interview. So her staff was the people that David had received the information from, because David reached out and she works inside the government. So she.
Deceptive editing! Deceptive editing! Caught him in 4K! Actually, it's more like 720 plus, but that doesn't matter! That doesn't matter! Caught him! Caught him! God damn, that indeed was shifty as fuck. Shifty as fuck. Does anybody disagree with the notion that the way that Andrew's response is cut is meant to make us, the viewer, think that when he cuts from back to the framing of the actual podcast, that the implication is, see, we did put it in the original podcast. Does anybody disagree with that? People are saying Andrew's more wrong. Eric said, who cares? Giant nothing burger, not very sophisticated psyop. But the point is, did you clock all of these things just watching the videos, or did it take us slowing it down and going back over and looking through the transcript to actually see? The point is that this shit is going right over your head if you're not paying attention. If they're doing it with shit like this, they're doing it with everything else. I'm muted. Test. You don't. Guys, if you say something like this, say, you're muted. I can't hear. Your microphone is not working. What does this mean? Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Thank you. Jesus, fuck. I told you guys, I freaked the fuck out with dead air. I appreciate the help, but you gotta tell me what the fuck you're talking about. You're saying test and a fake plane and me. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. All right, Buck said Andrew 100% repeatedly heard him ask what he would put in a video as he edited that. Yup. Thank you. Yeah, I do appreciate, definitely let me know, but do check if it's on your end first. because that could be a big, like, if we have a lot of people here, and even if it takes 2 minutes to be like, wait, people are gonna leave. So I do definitely, like, more people are gonna leave if you don't tell me. So I appreciate that, but you gotta be like audio not good, or be specific. But all right, thank you. Diving back in, caught in 4K, trying to slip this clip in as if it was in the original interview when it was not. So again, I wonder if this part is even in the original interview, but he's showing it like that. Then he cuts to act like, well, yeah, we just cut this out because it was extra stuff. He said it so many times.
Of those charged in connection with major. Wow.
Identified as Somalian Americans.
Well,
then we cut back here. The implication is that we saw this in the original interview and we did not.
Looks like we do. It looks like
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview, because
looks like there is a problem with fraud. He
didn't put it in there. So let's say, well, I mean, that's damning. Nick, that was a real bad moment when you're like, well, I don't even want to watch that. That's pretty gay, but this is malicious.
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview, because
looks like there is a problem with fraud. He is kind of right. However,
So why didn't you put that in the interview?
That refers specifically to the already litigated Feeding Our Future case, which resulted in over 60 fraud convictions in Minnesota. The ringleader of the nonprofit behind the scam, Amy Bach, is white, but it is true that 89% of convicted defendants in that case were Somali. And that's what makes me so pissed about this particular piece of evidence that Nick presents. The exact thing that he is showing me on his phone in the video is what I put on screen on the final cut. I did exactly what I said I would. He frames my decision to put that on screen as some kind of like liberal ball-busting fact check, but it's actually supplemental context for something he is literally fucking showing me.
And that's fair. I think they're when we talk about who's more wrong, I don't think anybody was super evil, but they both have big moments where it's like, hey, yo, I can't defend that. One with the Nick being like, no, I don't want to watch it. And then this with the deceptive editing. But I think the deceptive editing is worse. Like what is uncool becomes cool, and what becomes cool becomes uncool, and the cycle continues. Right? Just said, I just skimmed the goddamn interview they referenced. I assume it was on after Charlie Kirk. Best he did say was, yeah, I lived around some violence, and killing should be recognized as bad. He did not disavow assassinations or something close to that idea. In fact, the interview was more of letting the guy who last debated Kirk getting his arguments out unopposed. So he didn't. You check the transcript, and he didn't say anything about disavowing, because that's another point where he specifically said, Andrew specifically said, you should watch it. I did do that. It still doesn't absolve Nick of making the claim without knowing. It still doesn't, he still has to, he's still wrong on that. Nope, never been Hindu. Been Christian, been atheist, been American as fuck, but never Hindu. Now, see, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that 55 out of the 60 people prosecuted happened to be Somali. Yeah, coincidences, right? He blamed Gen Z being antisocial and not the obvious fact that they called Charlie a Yahtzee. Interesting. So I mean, it's looking worse and worse and worse for Andrew as we go on. They definitely got. You don't just hop off the boat and know how to do this shit. There's white women creating organizations to make sure that when you get here, we're going to tell you do this, sign this paper, do that, and make sure you don't tell them this.
but it's actually supplemental context for something he is literally fucking showing me, which is why it pisses me off. So that's all I have to say. I'm just in a phase in my life where I've been doing this for so long, and I care about this so much that I don't want to play these kind of games, especially with people who can't take an L. I want to put my credibility on the line by spinning things in a way that benefits their reputation.
He literally went out of his way to try and make me look bad, which is not cool. And I wouldn't say that's like very benevolent of him to do.
I think my policy moving forward, especially when working with people who are filming their own versions of things and lack the integrity to be honest with their fan base, is to either go live during every interview or upload the full raw files on Patreon the moment a Final Cut hits YouTube. So there's no room for these kinds of shenanigans, because it's exhausting, and I've got real investigations and real documentaries in the field, in the works, that I need to prioritize over these Miletta's antics. 2026, keep my fucking name out your mouth. 5.
Channel 5 live worldwide, Hollywood and Vine.
All right. So, oh wait, there we go. So, a little bit of a question still in the air. And as I was setting up the stream, I saw that Asmongold specifically addressed this. So, we'll see what he has to say. You've heard what I have to say. I think there's both aspects where people were wrong. I think Nick got embarrassed that the trolls were really coming after him, and he felt offended, so he made that video and kind of twisted it in his mind. I don't think he was lying. I think he was just wrong. And then Andrew, I think, did do a little bit of deceptive editing in, and even if it wasn't as malicious as the memery, Nick's kind of got a point. David said, I hate how statistics can be stated so deceptively depending on so many factors. Yep. I said, leaning towards somebody that is supposed to be investigating them, and they're guiding them through all the bullshit. Leaning toward, yep. Box said, it feels a little nitpicky. Nick did a good job reporting, and I'm glad for the awareness we gained. In general, Andrew does exceptional reporting on a huge array of things. Two guys doing good work, acting like women. I disagree. I think the credibility of a journalist is important. Like, you can't just it's not petty beef. Like, this is his reputation as his job. On both sides, really. So I don't know about that. You're only not bothered that things have a little truth to them. That's why Andrew felt the need to clap back, in my opinion. I think you're right. I think if Andrew had, I think making it a video escalates. Of course, Nick made the video first. But I think if Andrew had responded to him on Twitter and be like, hey man, A, B, C, and D, then it wouldn't have been as big, and it would have already just faded away. But kids gotta learn. Kids gotta learn about that Streisand effect. All right, let's see what the Roach King has
Nick Shirley response.
So I'm gonna speed this up a little bit, because obviously we just watched the video itself.
Here we go. Andrew Callaghan, we all know Andrew, did an interview with Nick Shirley about, I don't know, like a week ago or something like that, 8 days ago. And in this interview, it was 1 hour long, and it was cut in a way that made Nick Shirley seem like kind of a moron, right? And honestly, I like Nick, but he's not a great talker. He's not. And I think that's pretty evident. But at the same time, I think that it was edited in a way that, was misrepresentative of what, Nick Shirley actually said. And I guess before I do...
Yo, that's the conspiracy! They're like, yo, let's get a few more views on this and make sure that the most viewed video ever, you get some rub from that. And it's all fake. It's all fake. Possibly. It's either that or the Streisand effect.
I'm going to play the video of it happening just before I do this, just so you guys can be on the same page, okay?
So the other week, I sat down with Andrew Callaghan.
We saw this. We'll go. Did anybody put a one in the chat if you did not see Nick's video? Because we watched it a few times already. But if you didn't catch it, we can go back. I'll give you guys a second. All right. Does anybody need us to watch what we just went through? Oh, Box is late. Of course, Box. God damn it.
To do a sit-down podcast-style interview for his channel. And when he goes and posts the video, I see he just posted an hour-long interview. I said, well, that's weird, because we actually spoke for around 2.5 hours. And then I go and watch the interview, and I'm saying, well, what is this? This is not what happened. For instance, this clip right here.
What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Austin. Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah. Nashville's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
Well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
Denver.
Why are you smirking? It's not prospering.
All right, so that's a clip Andrew posted, but this is the actual interaction of how it went.
Here we go.
Denver.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering.
It's not. See, you can't even answer the question. It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
Why would you not put that in there? Right? You can see very clearly that like it's being cut in a way that, you know, in a free-form conversation, it seems like, you know, Andrew is much more understanding of this, but it's cut in a way that removes that. It's
kind of weird that Andrew didn't put that in, right? Maybe his like base or something would not be happy with that response because he obviously got caught lying. And anyways, let's move over to the next topic when we're talking about Somalians being known for pirating, as 89% of the fraud that has been charged inside of Minnesota is by Somalians.
That's a lot.
This is interaction that Andrew posted.
Somali community, or do you see it as both?
Who is surprised that Box thinks Asman is mid? We got it must be a Hassan fan. Welcome to the party.
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that statistic from?
You can pull it up on the screen. You'll find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
For sure, just so I can, I don't know, I believe you. I just want to make sure we have the exact.
Here, right here.
Pay attention to the other.
Yeah, and it's not racist to say it.
Probably.
And when I go.
This is what happens when I show him the fact that 89% of the people who have been charged for fraud in Minnesota are Somalians. This is what Andrew had to say. But remember, he conveniently left this out of the interview.
Here we go.
89% of those charged in connection with major. Wow, identify Somali Americans. Well.
Now remember, in Andrew's response, once we get here, he cuts back to the main perspective of the interview, making it seem like this is included.
Looks like we got to redo everything. I'm interested to see what you put in this interview. It looks like there's a problem with fraud.
So there you go. That's just two examples from the interview with Andrew Callaghan, where
wow,
he literally
and wow is right. And again, it's misleading. It is misleading.
He went out of his way to try and make me look bad, which is not cool. And I wouldn't say that's like very benevolent.
Clout is a hell of a drug
of him to do by any means, but I promise you
what
guys,
does that mean?
if I ever do an interview with anyone, you're gonna get the full product, because I think that's just like the most benevolent thing to do.
Yeah,
anyways,
wow.
I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys were able to see through what I just showed you. The full interview is up on my second channel.
So I thought people deserve to see a full interview. So basically, Nick Shirley came out with this video here, basically because the Channel 5 interview did, I think was that cutting a reframing that made Nick Shirley look worse, and it removed Andrew's concessions to Nick Shirley. I think that they did. And
I said, I just realized, of course, Nick Shirley up in his bitch. I just realized, of course, I just realized, of course, the statistic had to do with that case because you couldn't give a statistic of unlitigated cases. Yep.
I think that by doing that, it reframes the conversation in a way that is not entirely misleading, but it's also not telling the truth either. It was obvious, yes.
Yep.
So Andrew has made a response. Let's get it.
All right. So normally and historically, my policy for whenever somebody is saying some factually inaccurate stuff about me online is to turn the other cheek, keep my head down, and get back to grinding. But in this case, with Mr. Nick Shirley, who is now falsely accusing me of conducting an unfairly edited interview, I think I'm going to pick option 2 and let people know what went down. Okay. Journalistic integrity is something that I kind of take a little bit seriously, and I can see a future wherein access is limited to prominent people, especially conservatives, if I don't dispel this false narrative.
That's smart.
Right. Yeah. Again, the notion of it being feminine or womanly, like this is his reputation, this is his job, this is how he makes money.
Smart, you should do it
in its entirety right the heck now. So to do this right, I'll have to show you a couple of things, including text messages between him and I, and actual footage of the working Premiere sequence that I used to edit the interview, so you can see what was cut and why. So let's begin with an editing lesson. So when we're dealing with a long form interview of somebody who talks very slowly and circles back to repetitive talking points, one of the first things that we do in post-production is cutting what's called dead air, which means long pauses between words or sentences.
But you cut out what you said, not what he said.
Bingo. Yep. Hey. Shout out to Way Ass Junkie with the 2. Where's my applause? There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. There we go. And of course, a treat for the Overlord. Thank you so very, very much. Guys, we're 1/3 of the way there. That is 5 out of 15 super chats. And we are already at 30 out of 75. So, guys, I mean, 10.99 super chats will get us there. That'll get us there. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Very much appreciated.
Or fixable verbal stammers to slow down the conversation and risk boring the
This
viewer.
is true. Andrew is right. He's right about what he's saying, but I don't know if this really applies to it.
So in this raw interview with Nick, which had a total runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes, we had to cut nearly a half an hour of dead air to make it listenable. Many people like to choose their words carefully, so I get it. But there was a couple points in the interview that even in person, we had to have Nick repeat himself because the crew felt that no amount of corrective editing would possibly be able to make him sound normal.
It's been an interesting.
Yeah, Nick Shirley's not a great verbal communicator. This is definitely true, for sure. It's undeniable.
Few days.
I guess it's not either of their jams.
Past 72 hours. My video on the expose of the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever, longer than 10 minutes, other than Mr. Beast.
Can you say the fraud in Minnesota again? And you kind of stuttered.
Yeah. Oh, wait, are there going to be cuts in this or just going to be one take?
Which will make it perfect. So if we ask for say it again, it's just to make sure you say it perfectly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So again, going back to Nick, why is Nick texting Andrew asking, is this, why did you only put out 1 hour? You just asked him if this was going to be clipped. And he said yes. Which again leads me to think that all of this is a Streisand effect that Nick was embarrassed and he wanted to clap back.
So
that would imply, like, whenever you say something like that to him, it would imply that everything else besides that would be put in there. I mean, I don't, by the way, in terms of like media and everything, all of this is all fine. There's nothing that's wrong with this at all. Like, I know that it might look awkward because it's like, you're seeing how the sausage is made, right. But like, this is extremely common.
Yeah. So my video on the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever by a creator, longer than 10 minutes, expose style, than anybody other than the name of Mr. Beast.
So bear with me here. I'm going to show you the raw footage and we'll see how with the magic of editing, we were able to make Nick sound actually.
I don't know. Does he have I genuinely don't know how big his operation is. He's clearly got a producer, but does he have PR? I don't know if he has PR. That's a more like celebrity type thing.
Actually smarter and faster than he was in person. Check this out.
I don't think any.
Well, you didn't miss anything because we're going right back over all the same shit. Just getting Asmongold's opinion here. I feel like Andrew's trying to use the fact that he cleaned up Nick's speaking to cover for him covering parts that would be perceived as bad by his audience. I think you're right about that, sir. Sounds about right. Yeah, nothing wrong with editing. It's just the way you do it. Just so I'm more leaning to Nick expected the full interview and clips to be made. Okay, potentially that would be misguided, and that would be on the fault of why did you think that, Nick? But if he did think that out of ignorance, then that does make sense why he would ask after the fact, even though he just asked in the interview itself, is there going to be cuts? Because Andrew didn't actually say, yes, we are going to cut it. No, it's going to be. He said, well, it's going to make it perfect. Listen again. He doesn't actually answer the
Nick's
question.
Here, actually smarter and faster than he was in person. Check this out.
How does that?
I don't think anybody's really denying the fact that Nick Shirley isn't a very, very good verbal communicator. I don't think anybody's really denying that or arguing about that. Like, another good example of somebody who's not a great verbal communicator is Tom Homan.
Did we miss it? Did I go back?
Nick.
We'll see.
Creator, longer than 10 minutes, expose style, than anybody other than the name of Mr. Beast.
So bear with me here. I'm going to show you the raw footage and we'll see how with the magic of editing, we were able to make Nick sound actually smarter and faster.
Nick Shirley isn't.
Check this out.
How does that?
I don't think anybody's really denying the fact that Nick Shirley isn't a very, very good verbal communicator. I don't think anybody's really denying that or arguing about that. Like, another good example of somebody who's not a great.
Okay, well, you get the point. That when he said, wait, is there going to be edits? He said, which will make it perfect. That's already kind of a defensive answer. If I'm thinking it's okay to edit, and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be editing it, be like, oh yeah. But I mean, I'm not gonna like clip you out of context. We're just clean it up and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I believe this, but it is a viable theory. TV said, first impressions. I will disregard any information from Andrew henceforth. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think in the same way we can chalk up, the fact that Nick said 89% of Somalians commit fraud instead of saying that 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalians. I think we can chalk both of them up to, all right, I wasn't being malicious, but I definitely made a mistake. I don't need to learn for the future. Whether they actually do learn is a different question. But I don't know if either of them should be disregarded. Shout out to my backers. Welcome, said Nick. Shirley saved the world. I don't know about all that, but definitely doing some good work. Matthew's over here. They're going to make it perfect. I'll assume they'll cut dead air and maybe a retake or two. Not less than half of the conversation. Well, remember, he did say that there was 30 different cuts of dead air. So a lot of the time that was cut out. If it was just over 2 hours and we got 1 hour of content, and he specifically said we're cutting out things that are off topic, then you count up the dead air. There was a topic that he went off on, a topic that Nick went off on. I don't know, man. I don't think either side can be as malicious as we want it to be. Come and get it, bitch. Come and get it, bitch. Andrew said, how come these daycares aren't being monitored by the government officials regularly? Or is it a trend to hate and demonize Somalis? Trust me, in the coming years, USA will invade Somalia. It's politics. Well, I hope we don't invade them. I hope we just send these motherfuckers back. But the government officials are checking. That is the shadiest part. That's why Tim Walz has stepped down. That's why we can look at the mayors, the governors. They're in on it. That amount of money doesn't just disappear without you knowing about it. So this does not mean removing half of the conversation. I find it hard to believe that there was really an hour and a half of dead air. Again, that's not what was said. An hour and a half of dead air and different conversations that we didn't talk about. Shout out to America First. Not good work, actually. Fantastic work. No one else was doing anything. I'll take that. Fair enough. Admitting that Nick was right about Somalis is off topic. No. So again, I'm not defending that aspect. I'm defending the notion that if you are editing something, then you have 2 hours of content and it comes down to 1 hour, especially with seeing how Nick talks, that doesn't inherently mean that there was deceptive editing. The fact that we saw what was edited is in fact deceptive editing, but we had to actually look at it to see. Well, I mean, Nick put up the whole thing on his own channel. Absolutely. I mean, what do you mean? Clip farming. That's what they call it. Shout out to what? Comtech, how did you what? Why do you have 7 fucking things? Did you actually leave the server? You fucker. Where is it? There we go. Join the Discord before the stream ends to get a free day pass to the after party. Whereas the problem is these off-topic conversations have a tendency to add nuance and context to the main interview. Now that I agree with, but that's a thing that, like, if you do an hour-long thing, I remember the Hunter Biden thing was about the same, around the same time. I don't remember exactly, but it was about an hour. If that's your format where you want to do an hour, there's only so much you can fit in there. So again, the notion that a lot was cut out isn't inherently wrong. It is that which was cut out that makes it wrong. Just so we do know, former state and FBI law enforcement found the fraud out years ago, but were put out of work or quit themselves because nothing got done. Yep. Give them all the video and let them do the thing, then everything is fair and even. I don't know about that. He only did it after he asked, after the interview came out, and Nick was like, wait, a lot of this was cut out. He was like, oh yeah, you can have the raw footage. But it's like, well, why did you cut it that way in the first place? That's what we're saying. TV said, I got $5. It says Andrew doesn't ever release unedited and My brain is not being benevolent to me today. I got $5 saying Andrew doesn't ever release unedited. What is wrong with me? You guys can fucking read. And yeah, that's why. That's why.
I don't think anybody's really denying that or arguing about that. Like another good example of somebody who's not.
This is a new one. I have not gotten Drew Peacock before. Who is Drew Peacock? Oh, another tuber. What? This is a white guy. What the fuck? What? I googled Drew Peacock, and this is what I got. But you said it was a white guy. This guy? He's a black guy. I definitely don't look like that. But I mean, this guy? Who the fuck is Drew Peacock? Where are we at? We're learning. Yeah, right? He's fucking apparently. Okay, you did mess it up, right? Yeah, okay. Doesn't ever release okay, thank you. It was your fault. Fuck you. No, and unedited. I said I liked who? I think you might be mixing me up with someone else. I have no idea whether we're talking about the car guy or the guy on LinkedIn. I mean, I'll take it. I don't know, but I don't look like anybody here as far as I see. Well, what is this? Yeah, this is Drew Peacock. That's that guy. You're bugging. I was like, is this a P-Hub thing? Yeah. You're bugging. I ain't lying to you. I don't know who the fuck that is. Oh. All right.
Communicator. I don't think anybody's really denying that or arguing about that. Like another good example of some.
Ooh, like give me a give me a more specific example so that I could find the right Drew Peacock. Is it the car YouTuber? Is that who you're talking about?
Good verbal communicator. I don't think anybody's really denying that or arguing about that. Like another good example of somebody who's not a great verbal communicator is Tom Homan. Like Tom Homan is not a high level verbal communicator. I would say, RFK probably isn't too because of his voice.
I do currently have a droppy cock. So
you can compare that to somebody like Marco Rubio, right? Great verbal communicator, incredibly good verbal communicator. And so like verbal communication skills are really important and they matter a lot, but they're not the end all and be all. And it seems like what Andrew's doing right here is he's attacking Nick Shirley's verbal communication skills rather than what Nick Shirley's accusation is the way that it was cut and the information that was left out. I think that's what's happening here.
I'll give that a dilly-dilly. I'll give that a dilly-dilly. I've never heard that before. We've all heard bend over, Mike, last name cunt, but I haven't heard that one.
I think this is a weak argument.
Make you feel like gratification wise as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the HHS, Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota. And then they're asking for businesses to.
Somebody in chat says we don't care about if he's bad at speaking. We care about what's being said. I think that basically fit. Like,
yep. What happened?
Isn't just Andrew attacking his speaking ability? I mean, I already agree with you, Andrew. Yeah, it's true. You're right. I had done the same thing. It's understandable.
That they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
How does that make you feel like gratification wise as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota. And then,
like, that's a fair edit.
And they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses.
So I actually think that this argument works against the substance of what Nick Shirley's accusing Andrew of doing, is that basically Andrew is showing his frame like 10th of a second by 10th of a second level editing to make things sound more acute and make them sound more concise. So if you're putting in this much time and effort into this editing process, It means that you very clearly are paying attention to the way that it's being done in an extreme way.
Singularity said, I heard this video completely ended Shirley. Is that true? I don't think so. I think both people kind of had missteps. I think Nick got a little butthurt and projected a little bit of what Andrew's fans and just people in general who were making fun of the way that he talked. I think he projected that a little bit onto Andrew, but there was clearly deceptive editing on Andrew's part. So it's tough. It's tough. Because it's not good for your brain to watch and listen to people who don't even go outside or drink water. Okay. Fair enough.
Because if you didn't do this at all, you could make the argument that, let's say, well, we didn't really put a lot of work into it, and I could see how it seems that way, and we didn't try to do that, but I could see why it would feel that way. It's easy. But like, if you really show this much editing, which is, I mean, Andrew edited this video, besides it obviously being, I think, kind of misleading. This was very good editing by him. Like, this was he did a good job.
But, yeah, like mission accomplished.
But the problem is that you're also doing a good job by, I think, that misrepresenting what happened. It shows his intentions. Yes, definitely. And it shows that he was very clearly trying to edit this to be as clean as possible. Would you go Stephen Miller?
Yes, Emily. I am very surprised, but then I become not surprised. There's a moment of like, what? Really? Like they can't. Of course they are. Of course they are. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where I'm at.
Here at communication skills? No, I think it's here a lot. I agree with everything he's saying, which is why I hold him to a higher standard. I think you could communicate a lot better. If you want my opinion, I actually I don't rate myself S tier either. I'd say I'm like A or B tier.
In that interview,
mission accomplished. There you go. Mission accomplished. Facts on facts, baby.
We did that same thing as far as trimming dead air and splicing B-roll. Mojo probably 30 times.
Sorry about all
as
the
you can
pausing.
see here on the timeline. And it was never taken out of context, but to help him get his point across. We do this for every good faith interview.
Yeah, I don't apologize for pausing. If you want to see this shit, it's in the fucking description. I'm talking here.
Or 5 casts we've conducted so far.
Sure.
From Hunter Biden.
Let's keep the party raging, guys! Come on! Morty's hungry!
Morris, Jen DeSanti. So pretty much everybody we've ever talked.
Nobody has a problem with the way you're cutting. Or nobody has a problem with the fact that you're cutting videos down. It's about the way that it's being cut. I mean, I think, obviously.
Exactly. 100% not. Is that and there's this.
All right, let me see this again. It just shows, Hunter Biden stammering a little bit and showing, look, this is what we do.
The West Wing of the White House.
We aren't live streamers or live podcasters, and we like to package our interviews for efficiency and entertainment value.
And this is completely fine. Like, Andrew cutting that out is totally reasonable. A lot of people stammer like that in interviews. As somebody who's done a lot of interviews and has been in media, I've been doing media stuff for like 20 years. I very rarely will I stutter because I'm just so articulate. But I mean, sometimes I get shout out the box with a $1 make you holla. Thank you. Keeping the party raging. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. Don't fucking tell me you don't got 99 cents. Oh my goodness. And we got unwanted foe with a big 5. Oh, he's getting a brick. With that. Thank you. So very, very much. He's like, I don't need to smell that. I know exactly what that is. Thank you so very, very much. Again, no question, no comment, just pure love of the game. And we got Warehouse Junkie as well. Lightning striking 3 times, baby. Thank you guys so very, very much. And Morty very much appreciates it. Let's see, where we at? So that was 5. And we got, so that's 8 out of 15. All right. So then we had $8 more. So 38. And then Unwanted Foe is our new sponsor of the stream. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Keeping it real like we do. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And a big 07. Let's rage on. Like, you guys might not know this. I was in broadcasting class and like theater class in middle school and high school. Like, I've been doing this forever. So, yeah, this is very common.
That's just something that we do. So
It's
the
generic,
other cuts in the Nick Shirley interview that weren't dead air related, were
genetic. You said it was
conversation with
Hunter
that
Biden.
person you found either boring,
Thank you. Sorry about that, Box. Let me
repetitive, or
add
so
you up
off
here.
topic to they derailed the conversation away from its intended focus, which was fraud in Minnesota and Shirley's personal background. We cut probably
Yeah, but like, I mean, they're not really derailing if you're asking for a clarification and then he's showing you the clarification, then you're responding to what the clarification is. I mean, like, I don't really think.
There we go. Got everybody there. Oh, big thank you. And let's do a dilly one more time. Just for you guys. You know you don't like when I get all soppy and shit, but man, it really, really does mean so much to me, guys. So thank you.
That's
25 minutes of unproductive, redundant banter about Portland, Mormonism, gay marriage, his new crypto coin. I heard you also made a coin of some kind.
And I didn't make a coin. I just joined a platform where you can monetize your content. And there actually, so yeah, it is a coin. You can then monetize.
Does he have a lot of shit lip takes? I mean, I don't follow him that closely, but I feel like he's pretty based.
Your content, just similar to like how you upload on TikTok. You can upload your stuff on there. It's just based off Coinbase.
The history and ethics and welfare in America, and 6 whole,
I don't know,
nearly identical back and forths about his 89% statistic that he falls back on unchallenged.
89.
Thank you to those of you who are liking the super chats. This is a free show. Nobody has to drop a single dime to be here, and some people are choosing to do so. So I'd appreciate if you would show them some love so that you don't got to pay any money and the party rages on.
9% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians, and 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by
No, he just teamed up with a shitcoin.
Somali population. 89% of the fraud happening by country and then committing fraud. So 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from the Somali population.
So again, remember, we went to the counter. This is on number 4. Number 5 is when he misspeaks, which that's my speculation that he misspeaks. All 4 times he said 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalis. That is a different statement.
Right, but 95% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are legal.
That is a different
89%
statement.
of Somali.
89% of Somalians.
Since we ended up including
9% of Somalians committing fraud is a very different claim than 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalis. But again, because of the fact that he corrects himself later, I think it's fair to say that he misspoke. Asman is on both sides of the fence, but his right-leaning takes really piss off the left. Then probably legit. Are you going to start a Morty shot collar fund for 2026? Hey, maybe we'll do that. But real quick, guys, you bring up funds and contests, and it's not really the same thing, but I'm going to use it as a segue anyway. For the month of February, I want to do a contest to get our Discord popping again. Like, I know when we go to the app, us are regulars there, but before we had a bunch of the trolls that my ego about, I have a free speech platform. And I let, the trolls kind of just take over, and people were just like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. We got rid of the trolls. I want to bring things back. So I'm going to put this out there for you guys now, just so you can think about it, because I don't know exactly how I want to do this, but I'm thinking that we have a contest for the month of February. You join the Discord for free. It's absolutely free. Anybody can enter. And every single day, you must post a link of some sort with a caption. So, like, let's say you just post this stream and be like, oh, I really love this, or whatever. You post this, and you're like, oh my God, look what Asman said about this. Something that is not just spam. That's number 1. Then you reply to somebody else to get a conversation going. And so anybody who does that every day for the month of February, shortest month, that's 28 posts and 28 replies. You get put in a drawing. We might either do it by like a point system, like if you do more than 1 a day, we might do a lottery. We'll see what's good. But if you are someone who posted every day and replied every day in February, you're going to go into a drawing for $100. And I mean, depending on the situation, we could do more money. But the goal is to get us back to a more of a community than just the show. Because I miss you guys. I miss you guys. And throughout the day, there's other stuff that I want to talk about than just the specific thing that we're covering, which is why we take so many side quests. But yeah, I miss having, everything going. And I also miss not having to guide everything, where I'm starting all the conversations. I'm posting something, and then that might start a little bit of something. I'm the one initiating everybody going into the voice channel. It's supposed to be a community. Yeah, I'm the guy here. Everybody shut the fuck up and listen to me while I'm on YouTube. But when we go to Discord, that's everybody. So we will see. Yeah, the trolls are way down, and I had a realization that just because I want to have a free speech platform doesn't mean that it can survive if I let people just shit all over it. And I'm not gonna let that happen anymore. So it is still a free speech platform in the sense that there's no words. There's no words. Oh, you said that word, now you're banned. There's no phrases. There's no nothing. You could say the most vile shit that you want, but I still reserve the right to be like, hey, you're fucking up the vibes. You're rocking the boat. Here's your warning. Do it again, and you're out. And unfortunately, the losers ruin it for the people who actually want to be able to have this kind of a level of conversation going out all through the day. The Singularity said, Aslan's very smart, but he plays into the politics for views. He started some real drama talking about Palestinians, so he's smart enough to grift. But why would we think that he's grifting? Like, he's already a millionaire, and he hasn't, bought a $3 million mansion like Hassan. So what is the point in grifting? Why not just spend the money that you already have? So, I mean, everybody's just throwing grift. I just watched the grift episode of Community last night. What do we mean?
Including an extensive dialogue about that stat.
I don't see even how them being legal has anything to do with them committing fraud. There's plenty of Americans that commit fraud. In fact, there's more white people committing fraud than Somalians. I mean,
it's almost like there's more white people than Somalians.
Obviously. I mean, there's more white people committing fraud than there are Somalians, period. Duh, of course.
On the 50-minute mark of the final cut, I personally didn't feel the need to torture all of you guys with 5 other versions of that conversation.
89%.
Wait a minute. How do you know why he has the positions that he has? How do you know that he wasn't just like most other people who were not always into politics? I didn't know jack shit about politics until 2015, and then I learned all the stupid shit about politics and cast a vote for Hillary fucking Clinton. And now, I'm not claiming to be the fucking master of politics, but I know a lot better. I understand a lot better. And I have these positions. A lot of the things that I say seem to align with the things that I've seen Asman say. I don't watch his streams and stuff like that. But why would we expect that he's just doing, again, it brings me back to the question, why grift? Why would he do that? Why would he not just be like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I have money. I'm just going to spend it. I mean, it's a computer company, and I don't know how well that's doing either. Some will go through money pretty quick. Not Asman! Motherfuckers have the same t-shirt for 12 years. Here, notice the caption, 89% of the population, but that's not what he means.
5 other versions of that conversation.
89% of the population, or 89%.
Oh. He corrected himself. Yet again, that implies that when he said 89% of Somalis are committing fraud, that he misspoke, not that he was lying. He's I mean, hey, if you're into that, I mean, I get Indian Asman goal all the time. Hit me up. Let's go. What's good?
Of the fraud being committed in Minnesota is by Somalians.
And just so we can put that on screen to verify, do you know where that data is from?
Yes, you can put it up on screen. It's public.
And if you watch that raw cut, which I made clear in text.
Nice. Greenland could be epic and cold. Let me know if you need any locals. I still have contacts there. Just curious why you didn't post the full 2-hour interview instead of the selected 1 hour. Yeah, man, could definitely use those contacts. But I only cut it down because of either dead air, which is pauses, stammering, or moments of silence, but also trimmed topics, mainly ones that felt unfocused or took listeners away from the main topics of fraud, new media, your upbringing and style. Pretty standard for us when it comes to long form videos. For Hunter Biden, we shaved off even more. I'm not surprised. If you want to see raw angles for audio, I can send you a clip, whatever you want, man. Yeah, sure.
With Nick that I was willing to share with.
He said he edited 5 different versions of that conversation. That wouldn't be dead air. So, I mean, but again, it does specifically say, so it mentions, where are we? Primarily cut down because of either dead air but also trimmed topics, meaning we talked about stuff that while we were recording that I didn't feel was relevant for the podcast. That's what he's saying. So he's not saying like because of dead air, that's the only thing I cut out. That's not what he's saying. He's explicitly saying dead air and also trimmed topics. Seems that I mean, to be honest with you, billionaires are the biggest grifters and scammers, right? Look at all those rug pull meme coins. Oh, I mean, that's not even always the fucking billionaires. There's plenty of fucking streamers. There's plenty of fucking, just crypto bros. That's all over the place. Where did who say what? Aslan literally doesn't know how much he makes. He stated he has an accountant for that. He would be such an easy mark. You could probably rob homie blind as long as he gets his daily Dr. Pepper. As Marilyn would say, disavow.
Got back from Greenland, you will see exactly what I mean.
I hope Andrew actually addresses the specific criticisms that Nick has. Because right now, like, we're just basically, Andrew is talking about the process of video editing, which is clearly not what's being discussed here.
Yeah, so why don't we hop ahead a little bit since we know what the video is. Which part was this? Oh, this is the benevolent part.
Another component. I would always trust a person who I think has honest intentions and is badly spoken than a person who has bad intentions but is a great communicator.
And sometimes being super sharp in the way you talk is a little bit shady. Not always. Like sometimes people just talk good sometimes. But if you're really on like that, if you don't really talk like a human and you just talk like fucking a computer or some shit, shady. Red flag.
And I think everybody would.
Mm-hmm.
3 most benevolent billionaires.
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Mm-hmm.
Just well-intentioned, positive billionaires who you think are creating, net positive societal progress.
Trump? Our president?
Because he never said it right and said malevolent twice, there was no way to cut the dead air or trim the stammer. So we left it in. And personally, I don't think it's
this wasn't one of the things that Nick even criticized or even brought up. Like this was and also, does Nick Shirley say benevolent like a retard? Yeah, he does. That's why he made a joke about it whenever he made the response video. Like he knows he talks like a retard. Duh, of course. And also, like, benevolent could mean a lot of things. Like, for example, it could mean the amount of people that you hire. It could mean the amount of jobs that you could create. It could mean the amount of public service that you do. It could mean anything. And
I think this whole beef is just so Zoomer coded. Like, these are mistakes you make when you're younger and you have this much attention and you don't really understand all the aspects of how this is going to, the ripple effects.
So, like, really, whenever you say the word benevolent, there is really a web of ideas that kind of come out from that. And so, like, really, and also, like, how you treat your family, how you treat kids, etc. So it's like, for example, Trump, you could say Trump's an asshole or he's a bad guy, but it seems like he treats his family relatively well, right? He takes care of his kids, etc. So there's always going to be a way of framing it that you could make it seem like it's misleading if you don't clarify what a specific word actually means. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed,
yeah,
I do.
Clarification. Yeah, most people, like, I've never seen a person. I very rarely I see intelligent people ask for clarification more often than I see stupid people ask for clarification, and I don't think that's a surprise.
Big of a deal to not know that word. I mean, he is wearing a hoodie that is making fun of immigrants for their spelling errors, but benevolent has more syllables than learning, so I get it. But the comments on this clip,
patronizing,
were brutal. Like, actually, genuinely.
Yeah, and Andrew just interviewed incredibly well. Let me read this here. One of those painful off-press. Okay. How confident is he's a certified restart? Yeah, there's, yeah, and this is the reason. Like, again, communication skills are really important. And if you don't have good communication skills, you're going to have a lot of problems like this because people will assume that you're stupid.
Only mean.
What? Oh, wait, what happens when you're not an alpha male? Beta's fighting for scraps? Huh? Not making fun. He's making money. Money.
And it couldn't have felt good from his perspective to read these things.
Yeah, definitely.
We're talking tens of thousands.
I don't think Andrew engaged in bad faith by putting the benevolent clip in there. I don't think so at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that these are just people that thought Nick Shirley talked like an idiot and were commenting on it. I don't think Andrew did anything wrong there.
People declaring this guy is retarded,
yeah,
which he's not. But there are some moments in the interview that even with dead air trim for speed, Nick does not give his best performance, particularly when...
I think he does. That's the problem. He does. I like Nick. He's not. That's fine.
He's an exposer.
Blaming immigrants for rising rent prices.
It's just simple supply and demand. If you have 20 million people who need to come and buy a house or rent an apartment, and you have other people who need it, you're going to raise the prices.
All right. Rarely do I do this, but we're taking a second poll on who do you think is more wrong, Nick Shirley or Andrew Callaghan?
Suggesting that Muslim Americans keep.
Well, yeah, that's obviously true. I mean, like what he said is obviously.
And guys, the good polls are on the vertical, on the landscape stream. You popping in and out. I just need that engagement. Coming over to the landscape for the real shit.
True. Like if you bring in a bunch of people into an area, like this is what happened in Austin. Is the reason why the prices in Austin went up so much is there was a tech boom and there was a bunch of people coming into the country or into the city. Like obviously it's true, of course. So what about Muslims? What does this have to do with Muslims?
Prices.
Suggesting that Muslim Americans keep multiple wives in private while dismissing the association with.
That's possible. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe they do. Who knows? I'm sure some do. I'm sure some Christians do that. I don't know who the fuck sold us out, man. Like I hear like the Torah is talking about all these wives. Solomon had how many wives? Like all these guys had so many wives. And now like you can only have one wife. Who decided that? What a bunch of bullshit. Which simp sold us out? We did. We got sold out by some simp like 700 years ago.
His own religion, Mormonism, and polygamy as just a harmful stereotype.
What is the Amelia thing? I don't remember this. What is it? Remind me.
As far as the wives go, that's not a thing in Utah.
It's not a thing in Utah.
That's a negative stereotype.
Negative stereotype.
And also confronting.
You know what I think? I bet there's some Mormons that have extra wives. And you know what else I think?
Maybe.
I bet there's some Muslims that have extra wives. I bet they're both doing it.
Uh-huh.
How do I know that? Because it just makes sense. That's how I know.
Here, resurrect the second coming of common sense. Oh, you get the birdies unite there, but resurrect the second coming of common sense. What does that actually look like over there? Oh yeah, you can't. That doesn't even show up on vertical. Come on, StreamYard. I need to be able to do a separate layout for the vertical stream, because here I love this. I love that we can go from the video to here, but on the vertical, like this just has me small behind the chat. And this has me super tiny. I wish I could be here as my main thing on the vertical. And then when I come here for the landscape, that it goes to this on vertical. But I guess that's asking a lot. So I mean, there's a huge backfire on the by the government. The memes are amazing. Drop something in the Discord. Drop something in the Discord and we'll check it out.
It's that simple.
About staying silent on the death of Charlie Kirk while admitting that he consciously chose to not watch the video that I made in the immediate aftermath of it.
And so I thought that was kind of messed up of you to not publicly denounce what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I did.
And I'm interested to see what Asman has to say about this. Now, Joe said that Andrew was lying about the fact that he denounced the death of Charlie Kirk, but we'll assume that nobody knows that and take Andrew at his word. What Asman is going to respond to this.
I didn't even watch the interview because I didn't want to watch that.
Well, you should watch it.
I don't want to.
Well, you should watch the video because I say some stuff in it.
Okay, cool.
None of these moments.
That was stupid for Nick to say. Yeah, for sure. This is a point in Andrew's favor. I mean, yeah, definitely. It's a silly thing to say. I love watching videos like this and getting to pass judgment on people and telling everybody who's right and who's wrong.
Yes!
And acting like I'm the person that knows everything. Because
I am the person.
Number one.
Obviously.
And number two, it just feels good. It really does. This is great. Let's keep watching.
For a very good look for Nick, but I did not
Go!
engineer them
Get
that
out of
way.
the frame.
And if I was a betting man, I would suggest that much of the hostility displayed towards him in the comments is because his reporting, which was signally boosted by Trump and his cronies, has been a driving factor in ISIS's decision to escalate their presence in Minneapolis. You know, kidnapping kids from local high schools, terrorizing.
Kidnapping kids? What do you mean kidnapping? I mean, if somebody gets arrested for doing something wrong, I mean, is that really kidnapping? I mean, does somebody get kidnapped whenever they get arrested for stealing a car? Or something? Like, I think that this is loaded framing that is, I think, intentionally dishonest. You're using vocabulary that has a framing to it it's supposed to invoke something that's not accurate.
Well, but what Andrew is also he is doing that. He is doing that. He's invoking something that's not accurate. But he's also let me hear the exact phrasing again.
You get arrested for like stealing a car.
Oh yeah. When you're talking about the kidnapping and all that, the fact that he's including that in this video, that's a response to the facts of the interview that he had with Nick. Like, your personal opinions aren't really relevant to what we're talking about. The question is, did you accurately represent Nick's opinions? And then you're just giving your own opinions and selling directly on Nick's name. I don't look so good.
You're using vocabulary that has a framing to it it's supposed to invoke something that's not accurate.
U.S. citizens in their own communities, shooting people, kidnapping kids from local high schools, terrorizing U.S. citizens in their own communities.
Well, of course,
like, why are you even including this?
Like, the people are running around. Like, I mean, the thing is that you can have criticism for the way that ICE does things, but the problem is that when Andrew is discussing this, I think that the issue is that you're framing it in completely one direction. You have to look at why are ICE doing this. It's because these people are trying to drive their cars into ICE. They're trying to obstruct ICE. They're screaming at them all day.
Bingo. Exactly, Joe. He should be focused on only saying, no, I didn't represent him. I didn't represent him. Here's the proof that I didn't represent him. Your personal opinions on his work, ICE, that's not relevant here. So this is poisoning the well.
I mean, this is just really, it's bad behavior. It's very bad behavior. This has nothing to do with Nick's claim in the video. Yeah, this doesn't. Yeah, by the way, this doesn't have anything to do with it. Like, even like, you can hate ICE and you can think ICE is the worst group ever, but this still doesn't have anything to do with what Nick said.
Shooting people on the streets and hiding behind masks like the goddamn cowards they are. However, that's just my personal opinion. I don't like ICE. I don't like Trump, which is something that I made clear to Nick in the interview.
What do you think about
that? That's great. You don't have to like ICE, but the difference is that whenever you're framing things that's dishonest, then people are going to be upset about that, and they're going to feel like they're misled. It's bad faith. Yeah, it seems like it's bad faith.
Trump, I don't like him. There was no deception anywhere, but sometimes.
Irony. The irony. Does that count as projection? I don't know. We'll give him the whistle, not the dilly-dilly. There was no deception. But the sentence you are speaking and the clip that you just showed is deception. So yes, there may not have been deception in the moment there, which, you know, is another conversation. That's not what Nick said. He didn't say in the moment you were misrepresenting me. He said the edit of the footage. And now you're twisting that in a deceptive manner. You can't make this shit up. One fellow said deceptively editing to poison the well. Yeah, this Andrew guy is real shitty. And again, I don't know if I want to go that far. I am willing. I don't know enough about this guy. I am willing to say that this was an example of him letting his bias sneak in. And he thinks he's being fair because he thinks we all think we have the right opinions. That's why we have those opinions. So I think him pushing his opinions in here, he doesn't see that that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're doing here. How old is he? Andrew Callaghan. 28. So, I mean, how old is Nick? I think Nick is only like 23, right? 23. So, I mean, you decide within that 5 years, do we expect that level of maturity and self-awareness? I really don't know. I really don't know. What I do know is that this was deceptively edited, and he did poison the well.
I'm not sure what the word is for this in the journalism field. The person that you interview views your fans as an extension of you. So if your fans are dicks to them, they kind of feel like that's you shading them. And that's definitely what happened. Right after the benevolent micro-viral, Nick began to send...
Micro-viral? What the fuck is... You mean mega-viral?
...text to me that alluded to the footage being manipulated, writing, Greenland will be epic and cold. Let me know if you need any locals. I still have some contacts there. Just curious.
And then also, again, this whole fucking thing about the just curious... When you asked him there, the fact that you knew before you sent this message that you were going to type this stuff out. And you're like, oh, Greenland. Blah, 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 blah. Just say it with your chest, bro. You don't have to be accusatory. Be like, yo, there was a, I thought we had something. Da, 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 da. A little bit of a red flag, but again, immaturity.
Though, why didn't you post a full 2+ hour interview instead of the selected 1 hour of the interview? Notice the word selected. Nick suggests that I cherry picked his worst moments, which is concerning because we.
I don't think Andrew cherry-picked Nick's worst moments. I don't think that's true. But I do think that Andrew cherry-picked it in a way that a lot of concessions that Andrew gave to Nick Shirley were not in the final cut, which tried to give people a different impression of what Andrew's perception of this situation was.
And so there we have the crux is, did he do that maliciously or did he do that because of his bias and he didn't see?
I think that's really what happened. Basically, Andrew didn't put Nick Shirley's worst moments in, but he definitely also didn't put moments where he would be against the narrative of his audience in as well. He cherry-picked his own comments, he did.
Consciously did the opposite. But as you can see from these texts, I explained our entire editing process to him, as I did to all of you.
Yes.
And as I mentioned, even offered to send him all of the raw video files when I get home from Greenland, which I'm doing now, and gave him full permission to clip any and all moments of the piece there is on socials. Fast forward to 2 days later. I wake up in Nuuk, Greenland to see that Nick has posted a video filmed on a side camera, captioned something like, in case you guys want to know how they really went, here's this. Nick's bullshit crybaby video here points to 2 pieces of damning evidence. Exhibit A. Nick grills me here about Democrat cities being catastrophic failures after failing to understand that I am not a supporter of the Democrat Party. I am from Seattle, a fit.
Again, not relevant to anything that Nick said. But we've got a new poll for the landscapers. Does Andrew have any credibility on being wrong, but not being malicious? Is there any way 1% counts? This is do you believe, no, 100% he was malicious or 99% or less that he was malicious? Is there any way that he has the credibility that he was wrong, but not malicious? I don't make it easy for you guys.
Blue City, and then asked me to name thriving blue cities. So I named Austin, Nashville, El Paso, and then while smirking, I mentioned Denver because as angle, I didn't actually know if Denver was doing well because I don't spend much time in Colorado.
But another aspect of this here, as I said before, is that it's a little bit weird how Nick moved the goalpost to name a city, and he said name another, and name a Democrat city. Again, I feel like if Andrew was so on top of what was going on in the editing and all of that, then he would have honed in on those things. But the fact that he just either didn't notice that or didn't address it, then when Nick said 89% of Somalians commit fraud instead of 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalians, I feel like those are the things he would have honed in on. But he's not. Seems like, just a lack of awareness of what should be addressed here.
Well, I didn't actually know if Denver was doing well because I don't spend much time in Colorado.
When have you seen an American city? What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas.
By the way, just I live in Austin, right? A little bit of a fun fact here. Austin prospering means that all of the, I was going to use the word indigenous, but all of the people that are native Austin people are now no longer able to live in the city. So to the extent that Austin is, quote, prospering, it's doing so at the expense of their own citizens. These are people who can't afford to live in the neighborhoods that they grew up in, and they've been priced out of the city. There are many such cases. I think Seattle, where Andrew's from, is another good example of that too. And so they've been gentrified.
Oh, yeah.
They've been totally gentrified. It's actually insane, the level of gentrification. I don't want to go on a big tangent. So just give me 2 minutes for this. Is that I went
tangent,
down to
buddy. Tangent, buddy. Let you cook.
Fucking photo shoot for merchandise whenever I was involved with OTK. And I realized that the house was literally across the street from Cody and Jeff's grandma's house, their old house. They had passed away. And, this was many, many years ago. But I remember going to this house, and I'll just say it was on Riverside, and it was down under the overpasses there. And it was a really ghetto area.
Okay, fuck Morty, guys. I don't want to do any push-ups. So just get it to 74. 74. And then stop.
And like there was like chain link fence all around, and you weren't even supposed to knock on the front door. And now I couldn't even recognize the place. All of the graffiti's gone, all of the different, and like there's literally just people outside selling drugs. Like this is how it is. And anybody who lives in Austin, you know the Riverside HEB. The Riverside HEB used to be a PvP server. It was. And now there's Tesla charging stations there.
Yeah, just saying, I'll use my last shred of good faith to say Andrew was trying to protect his bias and not maliciously trying to change things. I think that is the case. I could absolutely be wrong about that. But based on the information that I have, I think that's the case.
Entire place has been totally fucking gentrified, and all of the people that used to live there aren't living there anymore. Now, who is living there? White women are living there that have love on the side of the fucking house that used to be a trap house. That's what's happened. Yep. And all of those people. So Austin prospering is at the expense of a lot of these actual Austinites that have been natives to the country or city for 40, 50 years. So I understand what Andrew's saying. I do. I get it. And Austin's doing okay, but it's doing well for the top 50% of the population.
Which is just the other side of the argument of when we were talking about Denver is doing so well as of 2022 when crime was the highest it's ever been across the country. So, like, okay, it's good that it's going down, but it's not down. Not in the way that we typically talk about that. So I do want to hear what he has to say about these charts. So this is going back to specifically when they're talking about Denver. Oh, look at that. When they're talking about Denver, and he was like, no, actually I was right.
Violence and property research.
It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
But in post-production, I did some research and found out that my intuition was correct. Denver is currently experiencing a decline in violence and property crime, a large influx.
See, it's a graph. We've got another graph. Oh, now this is my time to shine, to complain about using graphs. Okay, so number one, if you look at, for example, the new bill that's being introduced in Virginia, and also another bill that's being introduced in what's the fat governor place? Everybody know. Like, I'm just trying to think what's it? Not Louisiana. The fat governor place.
Does anybody know what he means? His chat is saying New Jersey or Chicago. It's definitely not New Jersey. Shout out to Glow in the Dark. What does that mean? Is that is that Chicago? Pritzker? Is that Chicago? That's what they're saying. I have no fucking clue. Welcome to the party.
New Jersey. Illinois, yeah. Okay, there it is. Yeah, it's New Jersey or Illinois.
There you go. Now, New Jersey, we had Chris Christie. That was our fat guy. Now we have some white chick, and we real quick. Okay, side quest. So let's just do. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Fuck. Yes. Yeah. There we go. We almost had this guy as our fucking governor.
So the bill went from normally about $125 a month at the shore house to more than $250. And a lot of that has to do with the increase in electricity rates. And so what I'll do on day one is pull us out of RGGI. The Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative is a carbon tax policy. $500 million can be saved each year by pulling out of RGGI.
Straight out of fucking Sopranos.
I think it's been a failure. Air's no cleaner. Electricity is only more expensive. And ratepayer dollars are going to other states. We're 7.5 years into this policy failure. I can pull us out on day one by executive order and save ratepayers, homeowners, tenants, and businesses $500 million a year in electricity charges.
Yeah, if you don't know, New Jersey is the most densely populated state in the nation.
I just bought a home 4 weeks ago, and it wasn't easy. People are overbidding the ask price. There's a shortage of housing in New Jersey, particularly affordable housing. What concerns me greatly is what we've seen in the last 10 years is a whole lot of housing go up, but they're all rentals. I think we need to get back to owning the unit, and we can come up with arrangements that make it at least to purchase so young people afford the home. That's how you build equity in this country. I just want to see us build more affordable housing consistent with smart growth strategies. That means our major urban centers and our transit hubs. I live in one, Somerville. It's got a Raritan Valley train line. It's got a New Jersey Transit bus line. It's got jobs, a hospital, a county government, a court system.
Shout out to Hoboken.
1 mile of Main Street with mom and pop shops that all employ anywhere from 5 to 10 people. That's where high density housing belongs, not out in the middle of nowhere. And I think the poster child for the failure of the current housing policy is the condemnation through eminent domain of a 175-year-old family farm in Cranberry.
I made a video about that. Put one in the chat if you want me to take the side quest to that video. I will find it. It was just a short. Let me know.
To have to condemn a farm to build more high-density housing in a community where there's no mass transit, no infrastructure, no jobs, only putting more idling cars on the road, makes no sense.
Oh, come on.
Number one, we need a new school funding formula. I believe the current formula is unfair and it's nefarious. It's arbitrary. The state doesn't show us how the calculations are made. With a more equitable distribution of state aid to our districts, we can lower property taxes in a great many districts all around the state. I think that we should make the first, I think that we should freeze property taxes when you hit age 70. We have a couple programs out there to get you a rebate, but you still have to pay the increase in property taxes and then wait 18 months for the rebate. So I just want to freeze property tax at age 70. I think all property taxes for all New Jerseyans should be 100% deductible on their New Jersey tax return. And
that's who I voted for. Let's let him finish the...
And I think we should make all retirement income tax-free. That can help some of our seniors afford their property taxes. So there's a number of things that we can do to lower property taxes.
I mean, hey, politicians gonna politician. But so he was talking about that that farm. And this is, so for those of you who are on vertical now, who are seeing like just the main thing and noticing that this video is actual, what the fuck? Okay, I guess we'll do that. See, but then I could have had been on the other side. Whatever. Wait, that was so weird. What the fuck was that? Anyway, this is when I had a monitor and I turned it. I turned my auxiliary monitor landscape so that we could see the TikToks in full screen when we were on vertical. We can do that again, but I need to see more subs from the Verdies. My home state of New Jersey.
To take the story of New Jersey, trying to take this man's farm that's been in his family since 1850 is insane. I didn't realize towns.
Oh yeah, Vegas is not cheap, not at all.
States, townships were still taking advantage of eminent domain like this. This is Andy Henry. He owns a farm in Cranberry, New Jersey. Cranberry is about 40 miles outside of Manhattan.
Like, this is my, I'm not going to dox myself, but I live in, well, I mean, I can't even do it with the mouse, but where am I? Yeah, because the thing is sideways, but I live in this general area. And this general area, and Cranberry's right here. I'm going up that way. I live right in that area. So what I'm seeing is the TikTok, but it's that way on my monitors. I'm like trying to do that. And we're talking about Cranberry right here.
Here it is right here, right off of I-95. This farm has been in Andy Henry's family since the 1850s. It's still a profitable farm. But the Township Committee in Cranberry, New Jersey has decided we need to, because of state laws, build affordable housing. And the only place to do it is on Andy Henry's farm. And
I feel like, we ain't doing it. Shout out to Staten Island. There you go.
They probably sent him a letter. They said, hey, do you accept our offer of $20 to $30 million? He said, no, I'm not selling my farm. They said, well, we are going to seize it then via eminent domain. This started a lot of stir.
Remember, this was a big storyline in Ozark that they could just take land. And I mean, I'd heard of eminent domain before that, but I don't know if I'd ever seen it in action outside of that show. And like, yeah, the government can just come and take your shit. Wait a minute. Why do I look different? Why do I look darker there? And why does my mic look way better with the Atheist for Liberty thing? I got to fix that. Anyway, outside of that show, and like, yeah, the government can just come and take your shit.
In the local media in New Jersey and then national. This made the town look really bad, including the Township Committee. The Township Committee's response to this was to tell John Henry, hey, instead of us taking all of your land, we're only going to take some of it, half of it. You can keep 9 acres for yourself. And on the other part of your farm that your family has owned since the 1800s, we're going to just destroy it, put affordable housing there, bunch of concrete, and yeah, you'll have to live next to that. John,
not only are they taking your land, but they're building low-income housing, and you've got to live right next to it. Dylan said, I'm not surprised the government does that. See, also the whole screwing Native Americans out of their land thing. You know, not a, liberals kind of overuse that, but absolutely. He said, reality speaking, you don't own anything. Nope. That's what they want. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. So, yeah, we could have had fucking Sopranos up in there, but Jersey's still too blue. What am I looking for? This. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Guys, we are halfway to we are halfway between the 3 and 3.5 hour mark. If you would like to keep the party raging, you know how to do it.
A fat guy. So they're making this new rule to where they seal people's criminal records on like a 6-month basis. So a lot of the cases where crime is going down a lot, one of the reasons why crime goes down a lot, some of the cases is because the crime.
We're not going to raise prices at all.
Is now reframed as not a crime, or it's reframed as let's say a misdemeanor rather than a felony. So if you're tracking felonies and then you class down all of these different things that used to be felonies and now they're misdemeanors, well, now you have a decrease in felonies, right? Obviously. So this is the way that information can be misrepresented. I'll give you another example. Is like, like how they had a shoplifting law where you could steal a bunch of stuff up to $1,000 and nobody would get reported. Well, guess what would happen because of that? The amount of shoplifting would go down because you're not reporting it. That's the thing, is that whenever you have,
but you're getting a lot more shit stolen.
You have to look at the way the data is collected and the way that it's obtained. And so whenever I see a graph like this or anything else, I don't believe this at all. This looks like bullshit to me. Or they gerrymandered the data pool. Yeah, exactly. They're just like, if you gave me a lot of time, I could break this down in 50 different ways. And I think anybody could. I think even Andrew could. Like, I don't think any reasonable, conscientious person could do this. So why do you think he didn't check it? Well, I think that, again, all I'm saying is that I would not look at a graph and make a decision like that. I even disagree with Nick Shirley's assessment. I do. I think Austin is a blue city in a red state. It is, but it's being run by liberals. All the people in Austin are liberals. So really, does it matter more the state? I'm sure there's definitely, are there red cities and blue states that are doing well? I think that they are. So if the factor is the leadership in the city, and if there's a red state inside of a blue city, does that mean that Democrats are right? I don't know. The logic for this doesn't really work very well. And so I don't even like the framing of the question. I think it's a bad question. But the point is that all graphs are fake except for the ones that I agree with. That's my point.
Based.
That's my point.
Correct.
I did very much want to see his reaction to that. So let's see. We see them. Oh, this is when he talks about, I don't like ICE.
Of new people coming in.
Voting on a local level, and then give Nick the benefit of the doubt and say, but I hope he's right about Trump and the GOP's ability to mitigate the affordability crisis. It's made many places like my hometown, Seattle.
It might have also made Denver unaffordable too. That's the other ironic thing about this, is that in a lot of these states that have like these massive influxes of new people coming in there and like growth inside of like, let's say aerospace, which is very, very high income. It's a high income field. And like healthcare isn't, but any sort of population increase will cause a healthcare work increase, right? Logically. And so this is the main issue. The main issue is,
who was talking about his Asman's shitlib takes? What are we talking about?
That when a city grows and a city becomes more successful, oftentimes the people inside of that city don't really share that same level of success and growth. That
it's other people finding success in that city. So the city's getting better, but the people who are in that city are in the same or worse situations.
Growth and that success is enjoyed by business owners, property owners, and in general, the top 1%.
Livable for those who grew up there. So I support voting on a local level for sure. I also suggest if you're watching this and you want to see videos that I've made about dysfunctional blue cities, watch San Francisco streets, Albuquerque streets, Las Vegas tunnels, and Philly streets. So the second clip that Nick posted really makes my blood boil because it's so disingenuous. As I mentioned, 6 or 7 times in this interview, Nick references the stat that 89% of fraud in Minnesota is committed by Somalis. We aired the version where we asked him to show us the data on his phone, which he found using Google search results powered by ChatGPT. So in the video he posted, we can see me look in the camera after he shows it to me and saying something like, all right.
I wonder if Asman's going to catch the same cut that I caught. So that's what we're talking about, where he's showing the phone. Then he shows Nick's video, and then he cuts back to this framing to something that's not in the original interview. Let's see if Asman catches it.
Figure 89% does not represent the total percentage of all fraud in Minnesota. Instead, it refers to the percentage of individuals charged in connection with specific high-profile federal fraud cases.
So remember, we're watching Andrew's response, who has now included Nick's video in his response. So now he cuts to Nick's video.
9% of those charged in connection with major.
Yep. I've seen this.
Identified as Somalian Americans. Well,
and then he cuts back and presenting it as if, well, that's the part that was out of the podcast. But this, what you're seeing on screen right now, was in the podcast. Can't you see? But if you missed it, we went back to the original interview and looked for all of the words that he said in the moments where he cuts back away from the video that's on screen right now, not in the original interview.
Identified as Somalian Americans.
Well,
looks like none of this is in the original.
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview because
looks like there is a problem with fraud. He
not in the interview
is kind of right. However, this.
Yes, he is.
Indeed, he is.
And the issue, I think. Well, let me finish the video, then I'll talk about meta level. Yeah, he is.
Stat refers specifically to the already litigated Feeding Our Future case, which resulted in over 60 fraud convictions in Minnesota. The ringleader of the nonprofit behind the scam, Amy Bach, is white, but it is
What about everybody else?
True that 89% of convicted defendants in that case were Somali. And that's what makes me so pissed about this particular.
He said he was gonna let the video finish, but we already passed that, and he hasn't said anything. So
piece of evidence that they present.
I mean, why don't we just apply some common sense here? If you go to a date
here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Shout out to Adam, captain of the Moral Felon Crew. Welcome.
Care, and you knock on the door, and 3 men come out yelling at you. And there's no kids, there's no kid footprints, there's no play area, there's nothing else going on. All the windows are boarded up. There aren't even any windows to begin with in some cases.
Guys, I do want to remind you that our landscaper poll is at 50-50. Does Andrew have any credibility on being wrong but not being malicious? Is there any way that you think we all agree he's wrong on the things that he clipped out? But did he do that maliciously? Is there any way that it is not the case that he did it maliciously? If it's a 1% that it might not be malicious, then hit yes. If you are 100% sure that it was malicious, hit no.
Like, what do you think the probability is that this is fraudulent? Like, I mean, if you had to, like, I mean, I know that you can say, like, oh, well, you're not sure about it. Okay.
Where's the proof?
Okay, that's fine. You're not sure about it. It's impossible to be sure about a lot of things. But, like, what do you think the percentage is? Like, what's the probability that it's fraudulent? I'd say it's like 99%. Like, what do you think the probability is that after this entire thing came out, these people said that somebody broke into their daycare and stole all of their paperwork? What do you think the probability is that all of these transportation companies, out of, like, you know, what did they say? Like,
everybody's foreign intelligence these days. Jesus.
1,100 transportation companies, like 800 or 900 of them are owned by Somalians. And then there are also all of these other scams. And you go to the location of the transportation company. Nobody knows where it is. Meanwhile,
but where's the evidence?
I mean, again, you can go and ask and interview any other business owner, right? Like, you go inside a store and you ask somebody, like, you know, what are your neighbors doing? And they're probably going to have a conversation with you. They might say, I'm too busy, I can't talk about this, but they will not react the way that these people reacted. Like, this is in no way, shape, or form a reasonable response. Nope. And I think the problem is that, you know, you could write it off as, oh, it's a one-off, right? It's a two-off. But, like, there's so many points on the graph here that you have to be able to draw a line. You have to draw a line here. Like, there's very clearly something that's going wrong. And the fixation around trying to avoid that reality, I think, is misleading. It's deliberately misleading. And I think that it's just so blatantly dishonest. And again, don't think about graphs, don't think about anything like something like, oh, this is what the media said. Think about this logically. Do you really think that, number one, only 80 or 60 people were involved with this scam? I don't think that, number one. Number two, how is it that all these people were communicating and then all of them showed up the next couple of days after the daycares? How does this explain 10 years prior to Nick Shirley's video of random assorted, news stories about these places being scams in the past? Like, there are so many points on the graph here that any reasonable person would draw this line. Any reasonable person would do this.
Bingo. It's that simple, right? It's that simple. I mean, do we even need to hear any more? Let's see what he says. We're coming up on the end. Let's see what he says after. Wait, he goes back to this. So I do want to see.
I kind of agree. I mean, he's agreeing with this too.
On his phone in the video is what I put on screen on the final cut. I did exactly what I said I would. He frames my decision to put that on.
Didn't catch it. Asmund didn't catch it. I caught it. But Asman didn't catch it.
Screen is some kind of like liberal.
It's not the decision to put it on screen. It's the decision to not include your response to the information that was affirming the fact that what Nick Shirley was saying was in fact true. That's the reason. That's what he was actually criticizing. It had nothing to do with the information that was on screen.
A ball busting fact check, but it's actually supplemental context for something he's literally fucking shown me, which is why it pisses me off. So that's all I have to say. I'm just in a phase in my life where I've been doing this for so.
Let's do that. And I think
the full raw files on Patreon the moment a Final Cut hits YouTube, so there's no room for these kinds of shenanigans.
I think that's a really smart idea. That's a good idea. He should do that. And I think also, like, you have to, again, even if Andrew doesn't agree with what Nick Shirley is saying, I think that it's important for him to understand why Nick Shirley is saying it.
Right.
Because yes,
and this is exactly on the notion that I'm talking about with the it not necessarily being malicious, but him just being caught up in his own bias and ego and not understanding that that's what he's putting out there. That's what Aslan is saying, is that regardless of what you think about his opinions, he has a valid complaint here. And if you show it as, well, you're saying I did this, but I didn't do that, so I can ignore you, then you're not going to learn. And I think it is a combination. I think Nick was butthurt and immature, and I think Andrew was either a little bit biased in the editing or malicious. And I'm willing to say that he was biased in the editing and not malicious, but it was biased.
very obviously, you can say that, oh, you weren't doing anything wrong. Oh, that's not the issue or anything else. You can say whatever you want. But what I'm saying behind a paywall, I think that things like that will leak out the same as anything else will, sure. But like overall, I think that you have to understand the reason why people are thinking that it's dishonest. And I get that, like, you know, he's passionate about this. He hates ICE, etc. That's fine. I disagree with that. But at the same time, there's a larger idea of being able to tell the truth that matters more than what our opinions on ICE are. And I think that makes a really big difference.
It's exhausting.
Again, what was the shitlib part of this that Asman has?
I got real investigations and real documentaries.
He's gonna, you know, talk all this shit. Let's see what Asman says.
So I'll go ahead and I'll read some of the comments. I think this is, again, I think that he had a relatively good argument for the first thing, like with Denver. I think that was a decent argument against it. And I think that definitely Andrew's point there was pretty strong. I don't know. I could see why people would think it's misleading, definitely. But also, I think that saying a city's prospering because it's brought in a lot of outside jobs, I think is reductive to the people that live there. But that's a personal disagreement, right? It's cherry picking. But I do think the final example of him cutting out him acknowledging that Nick Shirley was right, I think that does reframe things in a way that makes Andrew look more oppositional to Nick Shirley, even though he was acknowledging what Nick Shirley was saying is true. And I do think that ever Andrew got canceled, this was like maybe 2 years ago, that he's definitely tried to ride a lot harder on the left-wing side.
Yeah, okay, so I remember this part of this. Does anybody know, I know Box was saying something about all gas, no brakes or something. Like, does anybody know the story of how Andrew Callaghan got canceled?
And I think that maybe he's doing that because he thinks that they will ride with him and, you know, they won't get angry or pissed off whenever, you know, he does something. And I think in general, like this is the concern that I have, right? Is that I think Andrew, what he does and like his interviews and everything, his content's great. Like I like his content a lot, but what I can see this turning into and where I see this going is that whenever you go out and you do, like, for example, like one of his videos that I thought was really good was like the Ukraine video, is that he just went out there and he talked to people. And I think that he gave a pretty fair shake on it. And I think that he's done that too with like other things, like even Flat Earth, right? Where like you're making fun of these people, but you do so in a way that's endearing to them. And you don't just completely mock them. It's like you're making fun of them, but you're doing it as in like, let's laugh at how goofy you guys are together, rather than you guys are a bunch of like stupid loser, like fucking disconnected morons, right? So I think that's it. His gun show video is pretty good too. I haven't seen the gun show video. So if Andrew pisses off the right, nothing will happen. If he pisses off the left, the mob might hurt him. Well, and I think that's basically what happened is that.
Okay, yeah. Box is saying All Gas, No Brakes was a paid for operation with an RV. He lost that channel and made. Yeah, but do you know what happened? Like what the canceling event was?
He's effectively decided to take more of a partisan stance on things. And I do want to have Andrew, like I thought his Hunter Biden interview was really good too. And overall, like I think all of these things are great, but I think that he has to understand where this concern comes from, why people are upset about it. And even if he doesn't agree with what Nick Shirley's points are, you need to at least understand where the impulse is behind those points and to be able to like basically even at least understand what people are saying. At least try to understand what people are saying. That's all I'm really trying to get at. Right. And is the snake go after whichever way it serves? Well, either way, refresh for dislikes. I don't want to do that. I don't. Hopefully, this is a learning experience for both of them. And, it doesn't happen again. As I said,
I feel like we're kind of saying the same thing here.
Both these guys. So it's pretty sad for me to see. I do think Andrew definitely comes off as disingenuous. And I think Nick Shirley's definitely not a great communicator either. Like that's the judgment.
That's the long and short of it.
That's the verdict. That's what I think. Right. Andrew accepted false reality and emotion drives his discourse more than truth. It makes it easy to border lines even whenever your point's dishonest. Well, I think that's the big weakness, right? Is that when you're very passionate about something, you can oftentimes lead yourself down a path that's, problematic for yourself.
Right. And I think that's what I was alluding to, the notion of being a little bit immature because he cares so much about the things that he cares about that kind of blinds him to certain aspect. I don't even know specifically what it would be, but just the notion that his bias leaked through in that editing. And like has been said, even if he disagrees with what Nick said, to understand why that criticism was levied. And spot on, Asman. Just taking my talking points, but it's cool. We can all be right. Guys, big thank you so very, very much for hanging out. I know you could be doing anything else in the world, and yet here you are hanging out with me and the Overlord. And of course, it is, it means the world to me. So let's give a big shout out to the donations. We had Andrew again. And then we had TV with a PayPal. Unwanted Foe with a big 10. We had Warehouse Junkie. Thank you. Box keeping the party raging in the nick of time. Got that one in. Unwanted Foe again. And of course. Boy. Guys, I'm going to ask you one more favor at the end of these streams. Before you don't even have to leave the page, even if you're on your phone. Please leave a comment on the actual video. So if you're not in full screen on your phone, you'll show the live chat. You can swipe to the actual comment section. Just put Morty in the chat. Especially if you're on PC, you can just scroll down and just put Morty in the chat. It will do a lot. Liking the video, sharing the video, commenting on the video. Guys, that stuff, it's free, it's easy. It'll take 2 seconds. And it really, really, really will help. I see a Warehouse in the after party already. So I am going to go join him, guys. Thank you again so very, very much. Please do, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. And you never want to miss an Indian Jesus live party again. So hit that subscribe, but you also want to hit that bell. YouTube sucks with those notifications. So come on through. Thank you guys so very, very much. Until next time, once again, this is the Overlord Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here.